Hey, Rami. Good morning. Happy New Year. Oh, in fact, I should probably write that here. Happy New Year. Adam has picked a launch date for Skeleseller, March 17th. Isn't there an Adam launch or something like that? Adam rocket ship? What is this? Adam rocket. Today, Adam's just streaming this morning, and he'll be working on his to-do list and GitHub issues. He's going to start marketing again this afternoon. Yeah. Okay. So hello everyone. Hey, April, Presler, and Marie Kichi. How'd you settle on March 17th? It was a combination of things. I wanted it to be in March. I kind of wanted it to be a Tuesday. There's a festival just before that I can't participate in, and there's a sale just after that I could participate in. So I think the timing should be good, but also with the number of games that launch on Steam, I don't know how much it matters that you should try to like dodge this sort of release and that sort of festival and whatever else. I think it's just release your game and, like market it yourself. Hope Steam helps. Hey, just half. Yeah, conclusion, it was a pretzel. All right. So I want to get done with everything on GitHub and everything on this to-do list by the end of February. And some of it's going to involve prioritizing this a little bit differently. We have a whole bunch of pages of stuff here. Hey, Ryan. Hey, who cares? Happy New Year to all. So let's see. Need to delete the move fast and break things. Move fast. There it is. Old save file not supported. Do I have this written down over here? Move fast. No. What about... Okay, I'm going to just file an issue for this for right now. Remove the move fast and break stuff message. Keyword this. This definitely shouldn't show up for the launch. We'll need a localized string if we're going to surface an error message. We may even want to copy the save file just in case we end up messing something up. Skeleseller tip about weapons is purposely delayed. Yeah, I don't remember this. I don't remember this at all. Need weapon shop. Yeah. There's a 60-second delay here. Time to wait before showing. I think we just delete this. You just found your first weapon. Build a weapon shop to be able to sell it. Oh, wait. Is it so that we give time? And we need to give time for the elite thing to show up. You get your first weapon here, but then the beat dragon tip shows up. So we could set this to like 20. Or maybe even, how could we change this maybe? Unacquired item. This is when you get this, start the timer. I'm very torn here. I think let's just set it to 20 and see what happens. Yeah. Lower time to show got a weapon tip. Waiting 60 seconds means the tip text seems incorrect since you would have found the weapon a little while ago. However, we still want the dragon tip to show up. So we just wait 20 seconds now. I don't know, maybe that's not a good idea. Hey, okay. Happy New Year. All right, spend wisdom sludge tip doesn't go away on its own. Maybe it requires spending your skill points. Where is that? Allocate adventure skill point. Hire spend sludge. There it is. Hey, Trackley. And Happy New Year. All right, so what causes this to go away? Met condition to close is has spent sludge. I think there's a problem here. Still not totally sure. Has spent sludge is just the delta is less than 0. Yeah, I think I just tested this too. I'm assuming this YouTube video is my own YouTube video. Oh, no, maybe it's not. I have a skeleton badge on my Twitch profile. Yeah, this badge was for sharing a clip of Fright Fest. It's too bad I didn't realize I could have that. It'd be nice to have a skeleton next to my name. Maybe I can get the Skeleseller skeleton next to my name. All right, I don't think this works. But I'm not really sure how it couldn't work. We can swap accounts, rebrand. You'll get all my followers. What could be the problem here? All right, when you finally get the chef slime, we do this. We add this. Yep, this is all fine. And then there's just has been sludge. Okay, well, I don't know what the problem is here. Load from save file sets it to 0. And this has delta, which could be negative. Unless it can bail out. No, it can't bail out. Huh. HJT. Yeah, I don't see how this could possibly fail, and I should probably go watch this YouTube video really fast. Let me make sure I've muted this. And there we go. Now I can do this off screen really fast. This was from 5 months ago. There was a problem here. There's no time here. Oh no. How am I going to do this? Oh, well, maybe this was a bug 5 months ago and maybe it's just not a bug now. Oh my God, the game looked so bad back then. Hang on. All right. I'm just skipping ahead in the video. I got to watch this off screen because it's not my video. So it says you have enough wisdom sludge to level up an adventurer. Then I'm assuming they're going to go do that. Click the button. Click the button. They did it. And yeah, the tip is not going away. Huh. Okay, well, did something change in the last 5 months? Because that's possible. Spend sludge tip. Maybe this one, and if not this, then maybe something else. I don't know. 5 months ago was last year. I guess maybe it could have been this. Actually, I need to look at the exact date. It was July 6th. So I'm going to assume that May work went in by then. So let's not look at that. So it was just localization stuff. And then this one, fix a bunch of incorrect references. What's this about? No, this one doesn't matter. The year of the Skeleseller? I hope so. I mean, well, it's going to launch this year. Even if somehow the release date slipped, which I'm hoping it doesn't. But if it slipped, it's not going to slip by like 9 months. It's going to slip by a month or something. And I don't think we necessarily have to wait on anything. No, this doesn't matter. And I'm guessing it's the same thing over here. Yeah, no, this doesn't matter. Well, there's one other thing that could have potentially caused this, but I am grasping at straws. Well, there are two other things that could have caused this. Could have been that the code 5 months ago had this bug, but now we don't. And could have been an exception that occurred, which I wouldn't have insight into. So we shouldn't spend a lot of time on this. And it's not even the end of the world if you see this tip and it doesn't go away, although people intend to close them. So let's look at town.cs. This is going to have a ton of changes, though. So it's going to be very hard to figure out. Well, I guess we could just blame it. Let's go take a look. Where's that come from? Oh, wait, no, it's not even in there. It's in Chef Slime. Okay, let's go take a look at that then. Chefslime.cs. Nine months ago. Yeah, I don't see a problem here. Unless it was this, but the delta doesn't change. Yeah. I don't know. I don't. The only explanation I have for why that particular video didn't have this issue is that they had an exception somewhere. Oh, there's one other explanation. Maybe, which is that I had a bug in the tip system. Did I change this meaningfully in the last 5 months? Well, we changed it a lot. Fix this showing handled tips. This sounds like the bug. It's missing the tip that's showing. You would see the item-based tip even if you already purchased. Only checked if a certain amount of time had passed rather than whether you had built the shop. Did I do this for the sludge tip? No, I didn't. Okay, I think this is probably the issue. I think this fixed it. I'm going to just write that down. Actually, I don't even need to write it. I'm just going to delete from the to-do list. Yeah, it looks like we fixed that. All right, next. Hover over a clickable thing to get gloved hand, then right-click. It'll turn into bone hand even if you weren't holding anything. Okay. Maybe this will be quick to fix. I don't want to discriminate against tasks here. I just want to get things off of the list. So if this doesn't take like 5 minutes to fix, then maybe we just don't ever do this. Because it doesn't really matter, right? And I think I know what's causing this too. We have unhandled input here. We call drop item. Drop item changes the cursor. Yep, right here, use normal cursor. But it should only have used the normal cursor if you were holding an item. So we should just check that. What's reset drag state do? All right, let's just put this first. If is holding item, use normal cursor. Don't reset the cursor if we're just hovering over something and the player right clicks. In fact, shouldn't we not do any of this stuff if you weren't holding an item to begin with? Yeah, this seems not very smart. I think we just return if you're not holding it. Yeah, I don't think we should do this here. Return. Okay, that should do it. Hey, Leap Year Girl. Happy Skelly year. The year of Skeleseller. Man, I really am excited. And it's kind of crazy to think how many days do we have? Days until March 17th. We have 75 days left. God, that's crazy. It's kind of crazy because one day represents more than 1% of the remaining time. Go do what I do often. All right, take care, Pretzel. Have a good workout. All right, so this should have fixed this bug. This was pretty minor. Now, if I hover over something and the mouse cursor changes, right-clicking doesn't stop it. And yet, if I am holding an item, right-clicking should stop all of that stuff. Yep, and if I have the quick move menu, it should hide the quick move menu as well. Yeah, good. Okay, cool. Fix bug with right-clicking, repro, hover over something that changes the mouse cursor, and right-click. At this point, the cursor would change back to the normal cursor because stop holding item didn't have a check in it to see if you were actually holding an item. Hey, VR Devin. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is this Stardew? It looks kind of like Stardew, but it doesn't really play like Stardew. It's a town management game where you send adventurers into battle and then sell items that they find. So like we can build our little weapon shop here and sell this thing. Oh, that doesn't look good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, I'm glad I tested that. Yeah. There is a bug here with now dropping items because it checks to see ahead of time if you're holding this. And we do something somewhere else. Did I make it? Yeah. Though I don't know what you're talking about, but I made both the keyboard and the game. So yeah, whatever you could be referring to, I made. All right, so this is not a good thing to do. We got to figure out what calls stop holding item. Is this written in Java? No. It's C sharp, but it looks kind of similar to Java. Pickup item. This is drop item. Maybe this gets called. No, this is fine. What else calls this thing? Because is holding item ends up being false here. Item source dot remove. I'm guessing that's what's doing it. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, VR, there are commands for practically everything you might have a question about. So I think every single line you've probably mentioned has a command response. So maybe take a look through some of these and see if your questions are answered first. I don't necessarily mind just linking the commands, but it feels like you're interacting with a bot when you do that, when you could just be interacting with me. Holy AI? That's not AI. That's just a command database. I manually added all of those. All right, so yeah, I think this is the problem. Let me just annotate this because I don't think this is going to work. So by removing this here, is holding item will no longer be true. Hey, Cuddlefish, and hey, Mr. Evil Rex. I'm doing pretty well. Happy New Year. Yeah. So then we call stop holding item and it won't do anything. So I think there are a couple things we tried to do here. I wonder what's going to happen. Forgot about the dollar. Yeah. A lot of like meme things. Imager is blocked, really? I'm kind of surprised about that. Because Imager itself shouldn't have any issues, right? Do you know why it's blocked? Like, is it an age verification thing? Because even that doesn't really make sense, I guess. And yeah, thanks, Cuddlefish. So this is all I really care about here. And I wonder if we should have wrapped this, where is it? Like this in something else here. By removing this, is holding item will no longer be true. Remove it, and then item was picked up. So what does item was picked up do for us? Stop flashing, turn off collision. This is, what is this? This is clicked an item destination. I'm a little confused by this. I don't know why this code is even here. They don't want to do age verification? Yeah. Yeah, but why is it blocked in the UK then? What is this doing here? Move the item from the source and then mark that it's picked up, but this is when we click a destination. I wonder if it's when we click something that could also be a source. We only ever call this from here. Huh, strange. All right, let me read through this from the top here. We're not holding an item return. So this can't be just clicking a source. Reset drag state, set this is handled. If the target won't accept it, show a warning. Otherwise, we play that we're going to drop it. Oh, what is this? Drag an item from full key storage onto the key storage drop zone while the key grinder accumulated enough value to generate a key. Oh, it's kind of crazy. A while ago, under the guise of child protection, UK mandated that adult sites must add ID and age verification. I didn't think Imager was an adult site, though. I think like years ago, they didn't care, and then they started to care. Man, that's too bad. Hey, Amniac. Any site that might allow a user to see adult content must block the content. Yeah. Hey, Salsola. It isn't, but people want posting. Yeah, I guess it's just a site with user-generated content. Man. So does that mean that if there were ever a site where it's like, I don't know, like 9-year-olds post pictures of dinosaurs that they colored or something like that, that they'd have to get age verification because someone might post something bad? Man. Yeah, it's not about protection, it's about control. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm gonna go start my colorful dinosaurs site. Crayon drawings only. Nothing that looks too realistic. Oh, this is to take it out of the source because we're gonna drop it somewhere? Because otherwise we would have just hovered. Okay, I think I understand. Yeah, so I should leave a comment here, like, now that we've clicked destination, remove the item from its source. Then we call stop holding. So I wonder if we can just do this after we've done this. But I think this probably nulls out the item source. Get item, unreserved, set it to null. Yeah. Okay, we could maybe do some like juggling here. Yeah. And no one's riding in the streets. Yeah, I mean, this is the slow boil of the frog, right? Hey, Codex. Now I wonder if all those online Pictionary games fell under the scope. I imagine if it is a form of control that probably those sites just aren't big enough for them to care about yet. Or ever, maybe. All right, so this ended up being a little bit harder than I thought. We could try something here. I think this might be a mistake if I do this. Like, we keep the item source around. Original source equals item source. We know this is going to exist. What is item source? Item source. Okay, so we need that. Then we do this stuff afterward. And this comes from the original source. All right, let's try this. Yeah. So I guess just continue. It doesn't really matter what I click here. Okay, that looks good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I think we're fine now. I don't know if this is always going to work, though. And there could be some case where I haven't tested this. Let's get some more items here. I need the yellow potion without the handle. I don't see that here. Nor do I see boots. All right, let's upgrade this a little bit more. We also need item stacking. All right, grant items. Any boots? No boots. All right, well, let's upgrade this again. Speed this up. Grant some more items. Okay, this is not... Oh, there's one. Yay. Okay, how about we add in... how do I want to do this? I guess let's just go fight in the location that gives us boots here. And we'll just send a couple of different parties of adventurers there. Actually, let's send all of them. There. Now speed them all up. And we should get our boots out of there. So I want to put all of these in. And then I want another stack of like 3. And it should only try to deposit one of them. There's 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, so I take that. Yeah, nice. We're looking good there. Leave your girl. That's a lot of dinosaurs. So just because I don't see an issue doesn't mean there isn't an issue. I mean, let's try putting, I don't know, this there and then this. That worked just fine. Yeah, it looks like everything's working fine. Keep track of the source so that we can call stop holding item, but still remember what was being held. Does this cause any other side effects that might be a problem here? Drag station be a problem, mouse cursor, this stuff, this is all fine. Drop item tip is fine. We unreserve the source, which means something else could try to get it at that point. But we're about to like wipe out the source. And then send it back to where it came from. This might be a problem. Can I pick up an item and drop it again? Yeah. Got some pretty neat emotes, yeah. I don't see any issues here. Huh. Yeah, I don't see any issues. Okay, well, I guess let's check this in then, right? Which will null out item source. Somewhere was being held, yeah. Okay. All right, done with that. Turn down the UI hover sound. It sounds like a hi-hat and it bugs me while watching videos, or maybe have it attenuate faster. Have I touched this already in some time? All sound data. What is it? UI something. I don't know what I called it. It's when you hover over button. So sound here. And I need that script. Add button sounds to parent. And then this plays button hover. Button hover is right there. 007 hover 07. Okay, so let's go look at this on GitHub and see, have I modified this already? 08. Last modified 3 months ago. What about before that? Like, did I ever change this? I did. Wow. So maybe this is already done? Lower volume of some sound effects. Yeah, I already did this. I don't know if it's still bothering me, but I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to delete it now. All right. Probably need some save corruption prevention for if the JSON file only partially writes. We could copy the old file, verify it's valid, write the new file. Then when loading, if the current file fails, try an old one. Yeah, so the issue here is no matter what you do to save to just a single file, you could just lose power in the middle of it. And then you might have a partially written file. So we could try copying your current save file into a backup. And that way, if we fail to write the new one, you'll have a backup. But then we need some code to restore from the backup too. Otherwise, there's no real point. I don't know how much this is worth even trying to tackle. Like, games, since as far back as I could remember, would say things like, don't turn off the power when you see this icon. Like, even console games had this sort of thing. And yeah, I think it's generally understood that if you do happen to lose power during that time, it's like, well, yeah, your save file might get corrupted. So I think what I'll do, because I don't think this is worth tackling right now, it's just not a high priority issue. I think what we'll do is file an issue on this and then just close it and say it's not worth it. Try to prevent save file corruption. Yeah, it is generally a really short amount of time. And that's another reason why I don't think this is worth doing. So I'm going to write this down. I'm not going to tackle this for several reasons. One, I don't think this will affect very many people. It takes hardly any time to write JSON to disk, and you'd have to lose power during that time. Two is that it's not enough just to have a backup, although it's not bad to do that. We would probably want to... I wonder what Steam does about this. If you have Steam cloud saves enabled, does it have some kind of like backup mechanism? Can you go back to a save file from a month ago? It might not let you do that. And you might not be playing on Steam anyway. Hey, Syllables, Happy New Year. And hey, Dark. And Galaxy Inferno, Happy New Year and all that. Happy all that to you too. Can you keep a history? I can. And then, you know, worst case scenario, I tell a player that lost their save file, like, oh, you can just go look at the backups. But I'm not even certain it's worth doing that. You can't roll back a save. Yeah, got you. Any code. All right. It's not enough to just have a backup. We'd probably want to restore the files for the player. We're 75 days from launch. And this just isn't super important to do anything about. I think that's pretty much it. If you lose power, the cloud won't update with a bad state. Yeah, oh, I guess that's the last thing here too, which is that this may not impact people who have Steam, like, I don't know if it's capitalized, it's cloud saves on. It may not let them save a bad state. Yeah, so I'm just going to close this. I don't think it's worth it. If we didn't have like 300 other issues, it might be worth tackling. But even something that takes 10 minutes at this point is probably not worth it. All right, so is the guild making a splat sound when you build it? Is it? I don't actually know. Let's turn this up, start a new game. Oh, we can't just start a new game. I gotta stop skipping the tutorial. Let's try that. Dark had a sound effect that I think we should start using. But still, this never should have been a splat sound, is it? No, that was like the wood sound. Yeah, this is the splat sound, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is not the case. It's not making a splat sound. But we have an issue about the building sound. Find a better building sound. I think Darkstorm made one. Yeah, here it is. Let's copy this and go get this. Copy the sounds over. Okay, now let's go find that. Downloads, building. I think he gave me an FL Studio project. Yeah. I should just be able to open this. Whoops. Did it work? Would like to access files in your downloads folder. Sure. I like that. Hey, Mysterious. And yeah, release date. There's one thing I think I would do to change this, which is to make it slowly fade out, maybe? How do I do this? We go over to here. And then at, say, song, and then change the mixer volume. So link, create automation clip. Okay. And then go in here and just drag this one down a bit. That's a little too much. That's pretty good, right? I kind of want a saw sound in there. I don't know if we have a saw sound. Where would I find this? Home, downloads, Leopause, FFI, saw. Oh, sawtooth. No, that's a synth thing. Oh, woodwork sawmill. Do we already have that in there? Woodwork sawmill. No, we don't. Okay. We could maybe add this one too. Whoa, that's loud. Okay. Well, we can add that in, but we need to definitely tone it down. Didn't like it. Okay, well, let's see. I don't know if I'm going to like it either. So let's copy this to, what is this called? Building 2. And then, where'd that go? Sawmill. And I think we can drag this onto here. Okay, so let's turn this way down. And let's put this there. That's actually decent. It's maybe a little too much going on. Can we edit the sample? I think you can. I think you have to use Edison for that, though. Is that too much? Do people like that as a building sound effect? Power tools is a bit questionable. Who would really notice it? Sounds like a paper shredder. Yeah, cut the beginning of it. Okay, so let's see if we can do that. There might be a way. Well, there's definitely a way. At the very least, I could just do this. Create automation clip. And then zoom in on this. And have it start like that. And probably ramp up pretty quickly toward the end. Like that. What materials are you building with? Sounds like metallic building instead of wooden or brick. Just the sawmill part, you mean? I could turn that off. Wait, that didn't turn it off. That's the wrong thing. Hang on a sec. That. Yeah, so it's wood, I'd say. Power tools are weird. Okay, yeah, let's not do that then. So let's go delete this. And this. And this is what we have now. I think I want this just a touch higher. Yeah, okay, cool. That's it. So should I save this FL Studio project in here? I think if I do, I need to also save all these sounds somewhere. Because we don't necessarily put these in the game. Jewelry polish, jewelry grind, mining pickaxe. I don't think we use any of those. I want the hammer part of the sound to be thonkier. Oh yeah, I'm not super concerned about this. Like, this is passable. Yeah. And welcome in, Chronikov. Okay, yeah, I think this is good. So yeah, the question is, do we want to save this into the source code as how we got this? I don't know. The other thing we can do is just save the FL Studio project and just say, like, here are the sound effects you need to find if this is going to work. Didn't want to sound rude. No, that's fine. And I think it's serviceable too. Yeah. Hey, Flare. Because we'll otherwise never be able to recreate this thing. Yeah, I think we should save this off. Okay. Well, where do we put that then? I don't want to put it in game because then we need to stop. Well, I guess we could. We have a folder unused. We could say, like, doesn't appear in game or something like that. Oh, then Godot is loading it, isn't it? So no, we probably want out of here. Pick the release date to compete with STS2. They don't have a release date, right? They just have a release month. I don't think they actually have a date picked. Yeah, just March 2026. Well, they probably have a date picked, but they're showing it like this on Steam. Yeah. Man, that's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll launch my game. I'll play Slay the Spire 2. I'll cry myself to sleep if Skeleseller doesn't do well. You can save as zip files, which might help in keeping the samples contained. Oh, that's probably a pretty good idea. Project. I know there's a save as here, but I'm guessing I can't change. Oh, you can. Zip song file. Okay. So how about this? First, before I mess this up, let's export this as a wave file and call this, yeah, building.wave and save it. I don't know, in temp for right now. Sure. Good. Okay. So there's building.wave. Let's go put that in the game before I mess this up. Like I said, don't want to lose this. So assets, audio, sounds, town, building. Okay. So now let's go make... Wait, we have a sound ID for building something, right? Build wooden building. What is this actually doing right now? All sound data. Woodwork, wood handling. Are we using that as part of this? Yes, we are. But we're using other stuff too. So I think we're just going to change this to be building.wave and then go delete woodwork, wood handling. Where is that? Woodwork. Here, how big was this? It was about the same size. Okay, so in terms of file size, nothing's really changing here. Let's delete both of those. And then we click this, and then we go try to build a building. And then we save everything. Thought that generally there aren't many surprises with the release. It's like number of wish list times some multiplier for early sales on average. Yeah, so there is a statistical, historical model of looking at this such that you could probably estimate how many sales you'll have based on wish list. But Steam could also pick things up and confound that data. And in the next 75 days, we'll be doing more marketing so that, I don't know, my trajectory is going to be going into the launch. It won't get shipped anyway if it's not referenced by anything. Keep the FLP and unused assets and export the sound from there. Yeah, but it's not really unused. That's the thing. It is used. It's just a source thing. But I'll think about that in just a sec. Let's click new. Now let's hear how the sound is in the game. Well, it won't play for this one. Yeah. Oh, that's very tinny now. What happened? Oh, am I altering the pitch? Yeah, min pitch, max pitch. Okay, we shouldn't be doing that. Not to that extent, at least. 1.05. That might even be too much. 5% in both directions. Delay it a bit to get to 365 stream days. Man. Or I could stream on weekends. Or weekend days. Huh. It's really quiet. Volume 1.7. Yeah. And we need the bass sound picked up a little bit, I think. Alternatively, we just keep bumping the volume on this. Not 22. Blow our eardrums out. I might open up the equalizer and bump the low frequencies. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Let's listen another couple times. What units do you use? So the units pretty much everyone measures volume in is decibels. This volume is just a percentage of the... Oh, man. I'm not totally sure how I did this, but basically decibels are perceived logarithmically. So increasing by 1 decibel at a time is not going to feel like, oh, it went up by the same amount every time, I think. So there's a way to convert to how like a human might perceive it in terms of percentage. And I think that's what we're modifying here is like the percentage of how it's perceived. All right, I want to tone this down a little bit. And then I think we just leave it. I don't want to spend like forever on this. Do any of these individually sound bassy? Oh, that's not even being played. Wait, why is this off? It's turning itself off when I start this? Oh, that's mute. That's not play. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Oh, this already gives us kind of a mechanical sound. Yeah. Hey, Vetus. Art tips for noob. I am a noob. I don't make art. So I have no tips for you because I would be probably guiding you incorrectly no matter what I say. Well, except for this generic advice, which is just keep practicing. That's probably true for our work. Okay. I think I'm happy with this. All right, so let's figure out where we're saving this. We don't have a great spot for it. I think it should go somewhere over here. Let's make a new folder. Maybe we call these like source assets. Yeah, something like that. And then I'll make a new README file and we'll save it in there. Where is that? readme.md. Source assets overview. These are assets that need some kind of processing before appearing in the game. For example, building.wave is produced from several other Leopause sound effects. Which themselves may not be in the game individually. I'll just say which may not show up in the game individually. Yeah. Big jump in loudness between 95% and 100%. That might have been an intentional decision because playing back music is so core to their business that they must have gotten feedback on that sort of thing before. And maybe it's like they default to 95% and that last 5% is like, okay, let's compensate for bad speakers maybe. But I don't know. I don't really use Spotify. All right, what am I doing now? I'm pasting in the zip file. So let's try exporting this as... Actually, no, let's try saving it as a zipped song file. I'm going to save this in temp for right now. Save as building. What does that do? Building.zip. 773 kilobytes. And when I open this, it's got all the original files. Whoops. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good. Fine. Building.zip. So let's put this inside of here. Let's call it sounds. And I'll write... Should I write another README inside of there? Probably. Sounds. All right, so building.zip. This is a Fruity Loops Studio project to produce building.wave. That's it. Okay, great. And let's try this one more time and just listen to the sound in the game. I toned it down by like 10% or so. So new game. I'm gonna turn this up for myself here. Yeah, that's good. Have to double tap. Yeah, it's not good for WASD. All right, nothing else here should be too confusing or anything. Just get rid of this. Then we have a bunch of readmes. Okay. So what does this do? This fixes this issue. Add better building sound. Fixes this. The Darkstorm made the original FLP file, which is in the code base as building.zip now. And I just added a volume control to it so that it fades out a bit. Yeah, that's it. Commit. All right, another issue done. All right, idea. If you close greater than 10 battle windows and have used the edit button less than 2 times, Ed T button should come to your town and show you a picture of the edit button. Then he should vanish in a puff of smoke. I think this is hilarious. And I think this would be, I don't know, kind of funny to do, but I'll show the issue that this is talking about at least. Let me turn my sound down and turn off the music of the game. So here's the problem. New players start the game and they're just learning how everything works. So they click one of these buttons and they're going to start a battle and they're going to win this battle. And then instead of, if they want to change their party, instead of clicking the edit button, which says, oh, sorry, it's blocked by my keyboard camera, change your party members or location. Instead of clicking this, they're like, oh, I start a battle by clicking the portal and starting a new battle. And then they end up with 2 windows. And then they win this battle and they're like, oh, let me start a new battle. I'll click this, I'll click this. And then they have 3 windows. And then they might click the X's over here. So if you do that enough times, I wonder if we should, this joke here was like, we have a character show up and just, it would just do something literally like this. Like there'd be a screenshot that shows up in the game and it would just point a whole bunch of arrows to like this button. Like you should click this. I don't think we're going to really do this. But yeah, should we tell players about the edit button? Even then, I kind of don't think so. Like at some point, won't they eventually hover over this? I think this is the beginning of a game struggle that they'll figure out. And if they don't figure it out, it's really not the end of the world. I think it's a great idea if you have time to squeeze it in. So, hey, Kavino, one of the things that's unfortunate now is I keep thinking about what is the localization cost of any of this stuff. So, Ed T button is in English very close to edit button, which is what this is talking about. But now what do we do for 5 other languages? I'm just adding work for translators for kind of a joke when, I don't know. Anyway, this is not the biggest cost. There's also just like, is it worth doing this? And I don't think so. I think we're just going to delete this for now. By the way, speaking of translations, we are at 22% of the German translation. Yay. 1% Italian, and none of the other languages yet. I don't think we're going to get CJK done by launch. I think I need to hire a company or something. Just not enough Chinese, Japanese, or Korean speakers watch the stream for me to get volunteers with that. Hey, Kaval. I find it funnier when you get those discussion posts like I played for 30 hours and only just discovered you can edit battle parties. Yeah. Yeah. I feel kind of bad when that happens. The biggest example of that I remember hearing about was Breath of the Wild. Some streamer was playing and she played for, I think it was 80 hours before finding out about some mechanic. I don't remember if it was like the flurry rush or parrying or something like that. It was probably this. And it's like, you're supposed to find out about this probably accidentally and then just do it for the rest of the game. But there's a tutorial shrine that tells you after probably like 3 hours of playing maybe. So not super early on, but also not 80 hours of playtime. And it's like, well, the game does have a way that they kind of intended for you to figure it out. They don't force you to do it at any point. To me, they look like modifiers rather than interactive buttons. Perhaps they need over, you can click this. Now you should click this tutorial flow. So the thing is, most people do realize they can click this button. And if you realize you can click this, then you will realize that you can click this, even if you never do, because they're both buttons. But at some point very early on, you unlock auto battling. Auto battling adds in a 3rd button. And then it's pretty apparent that now you can click these things. So in terms of discovering that these are buttons, I think that happens pretty early. But whether or not they ever click this, by the way, some people hover over this and they read change your party members or location and then still don't ever click it. So like they recognize it's a button, and then just don't ever use it. And like I said, technically you don't have to. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that still. We'll see. Translate between languages seems like they'd be well suited. So they're well suited for some of this stuff, but I've now done enough of the localization groundwork that I recognize some of the problems that we had. So as an example, one of the things that shows up pretty frequently in the game is something like this. Let's see. I'm trying to find a specific wording. Here we go. Okay. So this issue, or this skill right here. So the actual text, increase the duration of your blessing of haste. Yeah, an LLM could probably translate that correctly. But the way this looks in code is actually like this. Increase the duration of your 0. And 0 is parameterized because there's color around this that's applied, and so that we don't need to change the name of blessing of haste everywhere if we change it in one spot. So this is totally fine in English. This is not a problem. However, when you have this string in, let's say, German apparently has no gender neutral your. I was talking to Molback about this. There are only gender specific possessive pronouns for your. So you can't just say your anything. You need to say like your, like feminine singular, masculine singular, feminine plural. I don't know how all this works in German. I mean, that's where my knowledge ends. But yeah, you need to change the word for your based on this. So if I give an LLM this, they're gonna probably type this in some way that probably assumes it's masculine, and then it might be wrong. And so I need to like give it the context of what this ends up being. So those sorts of things, I think you do still need humans to look over, or maybe you just need to get smarter with your AI tooling. I don't know. Anyway, we do have AI translations for all this stuff. I have no idea if these are correct, but if I click any of these things, it's like stun is translated as this. What does that mean? I don't know. Dizziness. Is that what games would normally translate stun as in Chinese? Who knows? Who knows? But we've got something here. Change your party members or location. Change team members or the battle location. That's probably valid. Yeah. So French actually doesn't have that problem. French has a gender neutral your, but it's the formal one. This does not need to change based on the gender of what follows. So we actually don't have that issue in French. But in German, apparently there's no form of your like that. All right, so ask for help with character balance, should look at things myself, need to buff the paladin, need to nerf the spirit caller. Do I want to keep these things at all? Came up with an idea, transfer damage is just negated. This is essentially like a fortitude aura at that point where all allies get plus mitigation. However, the paladin is based on still taking damage, so maybe cut it down by like 90%. Honestly, we don't really need to touch this stuff. We could just save these as ideas somewhere. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do this. I'll save it in the design document. My understanding was all Latin languages have male and female words for things, with English being the exception. Oh, French has masculine and feminine. Like table or ground are two different genders. But I'm saying that if you're saying like your 0, where 0 can either be table or ground, you could get around this and say this word for both. So that specific example does not have a problem, but in German it would. Yeah. But if you were to say the, it would be a problem again. So like, put the table on the ground. You see, oh, well, it doesn't translate literally. Anyway, you would have seen it. All right. Adventure ideas. Balance ideas. Ability ideas. Maybe put this in here. Specific adventurers. Saving these notes from 2025. for balancing a couple of characters. I didn't end up doing these because we're close to launch and I think things are fine enough. Paladin buffs negate rather than transferring damage. Whoop. There, and then Spirit Caller. I never actually wrote down the nerfs. All right, that's it. Launch date set. Hey, Sarah. Fix Z-index on the quick move menu with the slime's contextual tip. Is this still a problem? Funny how languages don't have the same gender for some words. Yeah. Yeah, so as an English speaker, a native English speaker, I don't know what it's like to have to memorize genders of words. I think it's the kind of thing that it just sounds wrong to you when you say the wrong thing. And I have studied French in my life, and there are some rules that hold true for discovering if a word would be masculine or feminine, even if you've never heard it before. Like certain word endings. Actually, I think it's just that. I think it's just word endings. But yeah, there are some, you know, quote unquote rules like that in English, not about gender, that don't always hold true because English has very few rules, I feel, that hold true across the whole language. How challenging is localization and compared to other parts of game dev? So localization, I want to do a video on this, but localization is really a bunch of things. It's the translation part, it's the like the foundation for translating in your code, and then it's structuring strings such that you can translate them. So the translation part itself is very straightforward in terms of how to explain it. It's changing a word to another word or a sentence to another sentence. The foundation for translating is calling something like translate on hello and maybe giving it some context, and then having handling of pluralization, etc. And then structuring strings is never having a string like this. You hired the 0. Like this is bad because the in other languages can change. So you need to instead change it to something like you hired the golem, you hired the archer, and split it into every single possible string it could be. Or you need to have some system for combining. Anyway, there's like a lot of different things there. So is any one of these difficult? No, not really. But the big problem that you have with any of this stuff is unless you speak any of those languages, you can't verify this yourself. So like I have a file with all the Korean strings in them. I can't read any of these. So this could be correct in terms of Google Translate giving me exactly the same string, but it might not be what a native speaker says. Maybe this word or something needs to change in here. Like I wouldn't know how to do that. So that makes translation really, really difficult, because the way I always compare this to software engineering is like, let's say you want to make a website and you list out the requirements. You're like, okay, there should be a buy button and it should add something to your cart, and there should be a landing page, and we should have like a contact form or something. And you tell an AI to do this and you're not technical at all. At the end of this, you'll get a website. And if you click the buy button and it buys stuff, and if you look at the landing page, it's got the info on it that you want, and the contact form works, then you're like, okay, I can be reasonably certain that this is correct. Whereas this, you have no way of knowing on your own unless you speak Korean or you go learn Korean. So that's, I think, what makes it really tough. The rest of the things are just problems that you can solve. But at some point, you need to involve humans. Hey, Seba, do you need a translation for Polish? No, I don't think we're going to translate to Polish. We are just translating to these languages, and now I'm not even certain about Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. But French is basically done. I mean, there's one string remaining. French is basically done. German is on its way to being done. I have people who signed up for Italian and Portuguese, and I'm pretty sure Kevin's going to do Spanish. So that just leaves 3 languages. Then there have been volunteers for other languages, like Dutch. We got a lot of volunteers for. But yeah, just apparently Dutch people play games in English, so there's just no need for it, really. Hey, Strawn. Just wing it? Yeah. I don't think that's a bad strategy necessarily. Like, you'll still reach people in that country. You'll probably bother a lot of people if you don't tell them that, hey, an AI translated this. But if you do tell them ahead of time, just so you know, like, we have a Chinese translation, but it was all done by machines. So if you want, use English. Then I think at least they'll have the right expectations. I think people don't like it when their language has a garbage translation and nothing tells them that it's going to be garbage. Then I think they get mad. It's interesting that English is void of it since it's so prevalent in Latin. Yeah, certainly makes things a little bit easier. Did people actually manage to corrupt their save files? No, no one did. I mean, in comparison to general game dev problems. Well, so the way I look at it is with any other game dev problem that you have, like you can learn it, you can solve it, and then you can verify it yourself. The only times this isn't really true is like, let's say there's a problem on a specific platform and you don't own that platform. Then yeah, I guess you need to involve somebody else or go buy the thing. But in general, it's like you can handle all this stuff and it's not going to take you 10 years. Like, let's say I wanted to learn every human language. It would take me a very long time. I need to maintain that knowledge. And I still probably wouldn't speak like a native person would. So yeah, how does localization compare? I mean, I think it was like, in terms of tedium, it was probably like an 8 out of 10. And in terms of difficulty, it's maybe like a 5 out of 10. But now that I've learned it, I don't think it'll be so difficult in the future. And then the ongoing cost is what is rather frustrating. Like, again, let's say I want to add one new skill to the game. I don't know. I want to add like Earth Shock or something like that. And it's got some description here. Well, this needs to be translated and this needs to be translated. Now you multiply that by however many languages you have. It's like +2, +2, +2, +2, +2. So you end up adding like 20 strings to your game just by adding an ability name and a description. It's like, oh boy. I don't want to deal with that stuff. How many wish lists have I gotten so far? I think we're at about 9,400. Yeah, almost exactly. All right, where do we leave off here? Fix index, the index on this. Yeah, so let's see. We have this picture. I don't know if this is still a problem. So let's go test it. So we need the quick move menu and the garbage slime. And then we just get some items here and click this. So what would you expect to have on top in this case? Because this is exactly what the picture is showing, right? Yeah. But I don't know if this is really a bug. Like, if this is a bug, then it means that we should probably have this on bottom. So you can't tell how much you're going to feed the item to the slime for. Hey, Skynet, welcome in. What's this game about? Yeah, the Steam page is the best way of taking a look at it, but in short, it's a shop management game. You battle, you collect items, you sell them. I was thinking, how important is it in terms of sales? I've done no research, but curious how it actually impacts sales. Yeah, so it's tough to say because of how like wildly different everyone's experiences is with sales in general. So here's a story that I've heard before. Like, oh, my game was doing okay when I released it in the US, but I localized it for Korea and a Korean influencer picked it up and I got 70,000 sales. Like, it's not impossibly rare to hear about that, although it's probably not common. So the more you localize, the higher the odds are that some influencer somewhere will play your game. And then, yeah, you get like a couple thousand sales. And if you think about it, it's like, let's say you do get 2,000 sales of a game and you're selling your game at $15. That really means you're making about $7 per sale because of how Steam works. So it's like, okay, you just made $14,000 by localizing your game into that language and then getting a little bit lucky. Does it depend on the genre? No idea. Yeah, no idea. I think probably some of it depends on how much text you have. So like, let's say you made a puzzle game. Like, let's say you made, I don't know, Tetris Attack. When you're playing Tetris Attack, there's very little localized information you need. Because look at how much text is even on the screen. Point, level, time, and then what, 6 numbers? No, 5 numbers. So if you wanted to localize this game just for the gameplay, that's all you need to do. Everything else is just shapes and the rules of the game you need to explain ahead of time. But I guess there's also push any key, which is being covered by this. But yeah, so some games you might be able to get by with not localizing as much just because you have icons for practically everything. All right, so do we fix this? Do we even consider this a problem? Do we want the quick move menu on top of the slimes cost or the other way around? Can you still use this? I guess that's a real question. So if I click there, it works, yeah. I'd like to click this, but we don't actually have the shop. I guess we do that. Yeah, it still works. Honestly, I think this is fine. I'm not going to do anything about this. Maybe I will take a picture just so that we don't consider it to be an error in the future. Yeah, like that. The slimes tip shows on top of the quick move menu. Okay, we'll file an issue and I'll just close it immediately. Slimes tip can show on top of the quick move menu. This was reported somewhere in or sometime in 2025 and is still an issue as of today. Well, an issue, I'm going to put that in quotes. However, I don't really think this is a problem. For one, the quick move menu is still usable. So, yeah. And second, you have ways of hiding the menu or potentially bypassing it altogether with hotkeys. Yeah. So I'm just not going to do anything about this. Close, done. Oh, and we can copy this. In fact, sometime in 2025. I know exactly when it was in 2025. It was July 16th. July. There we go. Ate. Imagine if you had to localize numbers. I mean, you do in some languages. Like Arabic doesn't use the same number system. Yeah, there. So, although I don't know what happens in video games. Like maybe they do just use, what do you even call those? I don't know. It overlaps? It overlaps, yeah. That is more with just where you picked up the item in the world. So if I pick it up here, it doesn't overlap. But yeah, if an item were coming out of the portal, it might overlap. Like I said, I don't really think this is a problem. I guess we could move this if we realize it's colliding. Yeah. Hey, Cypher. Happy New Year. Okay, update. If we do decide that this is a problem, we can move the slime's tip to the side so that it doesn't collide, at least. Yeah, I'll just comment on that. I still don't think I'm going to do anything about it. I'd like to create a game one day, but I suck at making art. You don't necessarily need to make art to make a video game. You can use asset packs if you want. And I always, like, I want to show this because it's very easy to find these at least. Although I always, there, game assets. Yeah. So like, let's click this one, for example. So here's an asset pack where if you buy this, you get all of this artwork and it costs, oh, you name your own price. You can get this for free if you wanted to. And you could probably pretty easily envision like a game or two that you could make with even just these graphics. Looks kind of like you could make almost an RTS game or something, or maybe like a simulation game. Maybe even some kind of sandbox thing. You've got some attacking animations. You've got some different buildings and towers. Yeah. So like you could get all of this artwork in the next, 5 minutes by paying whatever you want, apparently. They might have something. Yeah, here it is. Tiny swords. You only get the enemies if you pay at least 15. But okay, here's one asset pack, right? There are free assets out there. There are more asset packs. You could get any of these. You could make different games based on the packs you get. Like, look at this. This looks pretty good, I think this is what Mr. D-Boy's using. Can't you change the Z-index on it on Call It Day? Well, if you change the Z-index, then the quick move menu is going to go on top of the slime thing, and then it might be hard to tell how much your item would sell for. So like imagine that you can't see, oh, I guess if I drag from here. So like now you wouldn't be able to see 45 gold there. So you're like, oh, this is bad. How am I supposed to use this? So I don't know. Yeah. It won't be an original game. I mean, this is using an asset pack. I would call this an original game. Also, if you want to make games, I mean, like maybe start by using asset packs and then eventually hire an artist if you realize the game is going to do well. I think in general, just try to cut down on barriers you find and try to find solutions for those barriers. The other solution could just be learn how to make art. I mean, it's not a quick solution, but it's a solution. Fix the index on the quick move menu. Yeah, so let's stop that for now. So Earth and Shield should have text at the very least, if not for a visual effect. Could use the gray shield and have it fade in. We have some unused shield graphics. I think it looks a little bit weird if the golem has a proper shield coming out of it because it doesn't hold a shield. So we have this graphic. We have this graphic. That definitely won't work. That one won't work. So we could use this one potentially. Let me open this in here. I do think it'd look weird to see this on top of the golem when you become invulnerable. Maybe not though. Maybe we should test it. Should we tell Quickie Joe to redraw the environment? Just made Pong, making 0 art. Doing the 20 game challenge just to learn. So I don't know exactly what you mean by 0 art, but the assets for Pong are just not really artistic assets. They're just squares and rectangles. But if you wanted to embellish those, you could. There is a game that I love called Kirby's Block Ball, excuse me. Possessive. And their paddles that they used are pretty simple. It's just 2 stars and like a little connector texture. And there's a way of getting the paddle to be bigger. But they don't have any screenshots of that, huh? That's actually kind of funny that they don't. Maybe I'm misremembering it and that's not even possible. I thought there was some power up for it. Okay, well, I can't find a picture of it and I'm going to stop looking now. So, do we show a shield for this or not? Do they allow publishing simple unoriginal games? Oh man. Okay, so unoriginal is a thing that you're applying to this, just to be clear. Like, you can't steal someone else's game and put it on the store. So if you were to take Stardew Valley and be like, hey, I made Stardew Valley, it's like someone's going to get mad at you. But if you take an asset pack that someone allowed you to license for your game and you make a game with it, yes, Steam 100% allows that. And you can find a lot of different games that use the same asset pack. Realm of the Mad God had some Oryx sprites from a while ago. So if you look at this comes from Oryx Design Labs. And you might have even seen these graphics before. So I don't know if I can find the exact ones, but like this style, these characters, these are the same ones as here. I use this in, what is it? Opog.bot.land. I use this in a game that I made. Here are these graphics. A bunch of other people use these in their games. And yeah, these games they're available. You can buy them. All right, so let's start a new file here and unlock all the adventurers and get the golem. And I want to get this. When consuming your last chunk of gravel, you become invulnerable for a short time. This effect can only happen every so often. So if I'm not mistaken, we just throw them into one of these battles. So let's save this and throw them into here. They should lose this battle. Whoops, I don't know what I just clicked. Now they're going to die in one hit, aren't they? No, they're not. But now they're invulnerable for a little bit. So now they're taking 0. Yeah, so there's no graphic that shows that that's the case. Would this graphic be okay for this? Should we just tone down the colors? How do we do that? Someday I'll learn how to do this. It's probably one of the color things that are over here. Well, we can just open this in GIMP for now then. Because I know how to do it there. All right, so there's our graphic. Go to colors, do this. And yeah, something like that, I was thinking. Oh, I didn't save it. There we go. Yeah, so something like that, where it's a gray shield. I think that would look a little bit better maybe if that were to pop up, but even then I'm not totally sure. I'm also not certain, like, should we have a color in it just a little bit? Maybe be like that. Maybe I just focus too much on art. I think it's kind of normal to focus on the things you can't do, but I would say don't let that stop you. Like I said, in my mind, this is just a barrier to making a game. And you might not even know if you like making games. You're interested in it right now, but maybe the nitty gritty of it is not something that you enjoy doing. And there's this concept of mentally unpacking something. I read an article somewhere recently that said something like, kids have a real problem with this when it comes to what do they want to be when they grow up. And it's like, I want to be an astronaut or something like that. It's like, this is probably not the job that kids think it is. And I think this is an incredibly difficult, probably like super boring job, a socially testing job if you actually go out to space. But they just think, cool, space, neat, stars, comets. So yeah, I think it's kind of the same thing with game dev. It's like, you've seen me do this enough where you've probably seen some of the struggles and the frustrations, but some people aren't aware of those and they just see, oh yeah, I'd like to make a game. And the other thing too that I think some people focus on is like, if you already have a game, changing it or changing some of the mechanics would be fun. And that is certainly the case. Like, oh, hey, this bat should do a different attack, or I should throw fireballs instead of rocks or something. Like, once you have all this foundation, changing those things is pretty easy. And if you like that idea, I'd say to try to get into modding, because then you don't need to make the whole game. If you were to take Minecraft and add some new kind of block, it probably wouldn't take you as long as making Minecraft. And if it does, then it means something's wrong. All right, so yeah, do we show this graphic? So let's go save this thing that we have. Export as. Let's put this, I guess, sure, let's put it on use. Let's call this earthen. Whoops. Oh, you know what? If I'm going to make it earthen, let's make it brown, I guess, right? Whoop, not that. Hue. Yeah, like there. It's probably good. All right, now export that as earthen. Oh, earthen shield. Does not match a known format. I forgot a period. All right, now we move this out of unused and into something. No, battle. We should put it in there. Yeah, nice. Okay, good. All right, so what is this similar to? Do we have anything else that looks like this that shows up in the game? I guess Chomp is probably pretty similar. Yeah, let's save this as Earthen Shield. This has a ability animation. Oh, it has the same script as everything else, which has an init and a callback. We don't need a callback in this case. So I don't think we need anything special. I don't think we even need a script for this. Detach. We do need the animation, so delete all these. Oh, wait, maybe that works. Maybe that doesn't. I'll just make a new sprite frame. All right, now we go find Battle, Earthen Shield. We zoom in. We set this to 24. We select all. I don't actually know how I want this to look. And I don't need it to loop. I actually think I want to rearrange these. Would that look better? Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then maybe play it a little bit faster. And then slow it down as it goes through. So frame duration is 1.1 and then frame duration is 1.2. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Okay, so this should probably not fade in. We don't have a callback here. I don't care about this. Delete this. So instead of fading in, we just have it autoplay the animation and then free it after some time. Maybe it should fade out though. Problem with this is I need to test it. So let's go set the scale. Oh, scale's at 0.75. Okay, let's set it to 5 just so I can see it and then run this scene. That looked decent. Yeah, that looked decent. Yeah, so that's what this looks like now. The animation plays and then it fades out. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. All right, so now we spawn this from Earth and Shield. So let's go find where we have Chomp. Yeah, here it is. And then in init and add thing. Yeah, so we're going to put this on the golem. What am I talking about? We're going to put on Earth and Shield. And when you become invulnerable... Oh, hey, shield does show up. What? I didn't see it. Oh. Well, I mean, we can also show a graphic. Yeah. I didn't realize that was already there. All right, well, anyway, ability animation. This is really just an animated sprite at this point? Or is it a specific scene? It's an animated sprite. I guess all we really care about is that it's a node. So, graphic. Scene functions, instantiate node 2D. Scene paths.chomp. Let's just copy paste this for right now. Because I want to see how this looks. I don't even know if we're going to use this. And we don't need it in init. And we do need this on the affected entity. Graphic. There, done. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, so now I just start this again. And we get into a battle with the golem in a place where they're going to die. I guess the mines. And then just zoom in a bit. And now we should see a shield graphic show up on them. Yeah, is that good? I mean, it's kind of quick and it's kind of subtle. Let's look at that again. Yeah, you see that? So there's the graphic, but it shows up pretty quickly. Maybe we just need to change the timing a little bit because them applying the shield, it gets bigger, it gets bigger. And then maybe it just shouldn't fade out immediately. Yeah, I think we just wait a tiny bit before fading it out. And then I think it'd be good. So this starts here and goes to here. We just bump this to the side a little bit. So it's like a tenth of a second or 0.15 seconds is what we moved it by. Now we try that again. Yeah, we could also make this get even bigger. It's only growing to the size of 0.75. We could have it grow to like 9.5. And that way it more than covers the golem. I think I like this. Is this a Moonlander? No, this is a corn keyboard. The Moonlander, believe it or not, is much bigger than this. The welcome in purple stuff. All right, how's this look now? Yeah, okay, I like that. I think that's pretty good. All right, let's look at that on YouTube again. How do we go back to there? Cool. Yeah. In fact, we could have the shield just stay on them for the entire time they're invulnerable. But I think that wouldn't be super clear. You know what actually would probably be kind of nice? Is just make the fade out time last a little bit longer. So instead of taking, what is this, like 0.35 seconds or something, we just drag this one to the side a little bit. There. In fact, I don't think 1/10 of a second would be overstaying its welcome. Does that automatically take effect? I don't even know if I'd be able to tell. I think it did. I'll try one more time, but then that's it. We're not spending longer on this. Because I do like this graphic. It was unused. I don't like having unused graphics in the game because Quickie Joe had to take the time to make them. And then if I just don't use them, then what does that say? Yeah, I think it's nice. So that's what lets you know that you're invulnerable for a little bit. Then it fades away and you die. I mean, you don't necessarily die in the game. All right, so Earthen Shield. Let's go find that. Earthen Shield. There, done. So now we need to remove that from the unused graphics. It was just called Shield there. Technically, we could keep this because this is not used. He drew it with red and yellow. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it in there. Okay. Add Earthen Shield graphic. I kept the original graphic in unused, even though we're kind of using it, because I changed the color in GIMP to be brownish gray. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. All right, the mage should delay their projectiles like how the golem does, so that they're timed with the animation. You need to take into account that they have 4 abilities and mental swiftness, so we can't delay all of the abilities. Oh man, Quickie Joe's been pushing for this for a while, but I just don't think it would work with the mage. Does it only build the used assets or sprites, or do you need to manually remove them? So building, I don't think anything special needs to happen on building, but on exporting, we don't export the unused ones. So like a player won't have shield.png in their Steam build. But Godot might need to still do some like a validation or something, so it might still take extra time. I don't know. Yeah, this thing's tricky. I don't know what I want to do for this. Characters. This one. Yeah, so this graphic right here. The first frame of this is just the like spell starting, and then this is the spell being cast. And yeah, Quickie Joe wants us to wait until this frame. But the problem with the mage is that they have 4 spells they can cast, and they can potentially speed up all of those spells every time they use them. So I guess let's go try this out. So let's get the mage. Let's level them up 1,000,000 times by cheating. And then give them maximum spell castitude. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, so now I have all 4 spells. We're going to make them invincible. And we're going to just see them cast like crazy. I guess you only notice it on the 2 spells that come out of the mage, which is Fireball and Ice Blast. I don't think I'm going to do anything about this for right now. I don't know. I'm so torn. Do we do this for the archer? The golem does it. How's the golem do it? How does the golem do it? Rock throw? There's some animation thing. Play attack animation. What stops this from happening, I wonder? Oh, I see. We just wait for 0.41 seconds and then do the thing we would have done. I mean, technically this is going to make the mage worse because it's going to take 0.41 seconds before they use an ability when they could have not waited before that. This should be parameterized somewhere, by the way. Make a constant out of this. Well, we could just do it for Fireball and for Ice Blast. And we play the sound only once they've started casting. Okay, let's go look at Fireball and see how hard this would be to do. Because ideally it's not hard to do. Set animation. We must call set animation. Yeah, then we call play attack animation. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Now we paste this in here. And then take everything out of this. And put it into this. Anything else we do here? No, that's pretty much it. Okay. Well, I guess that's not that hard. And then we do the same thing for Ice Blast. All right, you go here. And then you go into a new function. And this goes here. Okay. That'll do it. Let's go try it. Just make sure I've saved this. Speed up the projectile travel time. I don't know how long it takes right now, but I specifically chose that time as something that you can tell what's happening in battle. Maybe as battles go on, it just gets faster and faster. All right, so toggle invincibility, go to the mines, and now let's take a look at this. Yeah, I mean, it's better. The way we'll tell for sure, though, is just by starting a brand new game and sending the mage into battle with no extra spells. So now you'll see the fireball get timed with the spell cast. Yeah. But then lightning also uses the same animation. Oh, yeah, okay. Represents the time between animation frames. Yeah, or at least like kind of close. I don't actually know how we set that up. There's some like sprite sheet converter. Sprite converter, where is that? Battler? Do we have a frame rate in here? Animation, 5 frames per second. So 5 frames per second is 0.2 seconds per frame. Why do we wait 0.41 then? I mean, it looks decent. I think it could be a little bit sooner. Is there a frame I'm missing here? No, I think it can be sooner. Wait, can every character be sooner then? Yeah, it must be, right? Why is that being done? Let's set this to 0.21 and see if it looks better. I'm just doing it for Fireball for now. But I wonder if we should change this for everybody. Take care, A.K. Happy New Year again. So send the mage into battle. Yeah, I think the fireball looks fine. I started and I meant to start a new game. I started the old game before. Because I just want to see how fireball looks. I didn't modify Ice Blast. Yeah, I think it looks better. Really makes you wonder, did I mess this up for something else? Or is it using the third frame for the other characters? Maybe that's why. Maybe I probably did the time on this. Let's go take a look. What does a golem look like they're doing? Yeah, okay, so the golem waits 2 frames before it looks like they're actually throwing. What about the mushroom? Yeah, again, 2 frames. Okay, so we need 1 frame for this. Got it. So then same thing over here. No, I think it's just that they have different number of frames. Like if we just look at this, mushroom is winding up, then actually uses it. So it's on frame 3. Golem winding up, uses it on frame 3. The mage, I feel like it should be casting on frame 2 because it looks like it should be. And are those the only ones we have? Do we use 0.42 anywhere else? Why is that not showing up at all? Oh, because it's 4.1, not 4.2. Rock throw, boulder, spore cloud. Yeah. All right, so I'll make constants out of these things. The blue orb for red spells is triggering my OCD. I'm not going to change that. Yeah, I'm not going to change that. All right, so we just got to make constants out of these now. Where would we put these constants? Maybe in Battler, because we have the animation frame right here. You can do math in a constant as long as it's constant math, right? Public const float. So I want this to be somewhere. Yeah, like battle animation speed. So delete that. And call this battle animation speed. Or FPS maybe? FPS. And then public const float frame to cast duration is 1 divided by the animation plus 0.1. No. 0. Wait, is it 1? Yeah, I think it's 1. So it's going to be 2.21 and 0.41. Yeah. And then frame 3 cast duration is going to be this times 2. Plus 0.01. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Toulouse. Okay, so now we go use those and probably write something like if a projectile should be created on frame 2 of an animation, e.g. the mage, fireball, use this delay before creating the projectile. No, yeah, this is not a custom engine, as Toulouse says. All right, so this goes here. Battler dot frame 2 cast duration. Same thing over here. Then in the other ones, we're going to replace those with frame 3. There. Okay, so now everything should look good. Hey, Strangeverse, I'm doing pretty well. We had a very foggy New Year's Eve into New Year's. Actually, it's still foggy outside now. I wonder if there's something online. Space Needle Fireworks 2026. One sec. I'm doing this off screen. I want to show a picture, but yeah, I can't. I can only find videos, not a picture of this. Oh well. I just want to show the foggy Space Needle and the fireworks. I haven't actually seen it myself, just a still from the article. I haven't watched the video. Okay, so if I put the golem and the mage into battle together, we should see the fireball cast at the right time and the rock thrown at the right time. Yep. Yeah, I think it looks good. And what about Mushy? Mushy takes forever, so let's speed this up a bit. Okay, they put their hands in the ground, and then the mushrooms come on over here. Yeah, perfect. Looking. Oh, I didn't test two things. I didn't test Boulder. I didn't test Ice Blast. Let's try Boulder. Yeah, looks good. It looks funny, but it looks good. And Ice Blast. There's no way to have Ice Blast, but not Fireball. Yeah, this looks good. Cool. Cool. All right, nice. Not too shabby. Cool. Delay mage projectiles to match animation. So we now wait for 0.21 seconds before spawning the projectile. Let's add light sources. Not on the to-do list. Perhaps playtesters should each get to name a tavern skeleton. Maybe just in English. Oh man, I like the idea of this, but I don't think this is something we should put time into. I think we need to prune as many things as we can from the list. I feel a little bit bad about that. Because I love this idea. We have a bunch of skeleton names. Where are those? What's data? Yeah, these. And I could have solicited these from playtesters. Like, hey, here's your Steam key. Also, you get to name a skeleton. What do you want to name it? But I don't think we're going to do that anymore. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that. I feel bad. Yeah. All right, read this again. Oh, fine. Let's read this now. I'm a solo developer, and I've been working on this open world survival game for the last few years. Part of marketing decided to give a demo early access to content creators, go over what I did, how I did it, what I think worked. All right, emailed 100 plus content creators, offering them a demo key, 80,000 total views. How many people have I emailed? Hang on, let me go take a look. Give me a sec. I can't show this on screen. I think I emailed 129 people. Yeah, I think I emailed 129 people. And I think I think the most success I had was not from people I emailed. Yeah, how do you sort by view count? View count. Yeah, so 93,000, 46,000. I did not email either of those people. I emailed this person. So that was the most success I had from emailing someone, I guess. 9,000 views. I did not email this person. I am that person. I don't think I emailed them. I did email them. So I probably got, from emailing people, maybe like 15,000 views. Maybe 20,000. Which pales in comparison to just the top two videos being at about 150,000. 140,000, I guess. So I don't know what conclusion to draw from that, but let's just keep reading. Also, why does it say 2? I have messages. 1 second. I don't use Reddit. Oh, I've seen these before. Huh, those weren't new. All right, so searching for content creators. Browse YouTube for days, a couple of hours per day. Made sure to pick YouTubers that I thought would enjoy the game. Pick them based on 3 factors. They played similar games. They're still active. They played demos. To browse, I searched on YouTube for gameplay videos similar to my genre. I checked every single YouTuber that played that game. For Twitch, I use Sully Gnome. I got to reach out to more Twitch streamers, I think. Yeah. I have so many notes on this that I shouldn't ever feel like there's nothing I can do. And I should definitely be reaching out to Twitch streamers. I can find them by searching Sully Gnome. How would we do that? So like if I type Adam Learns Live and I click games. Yeah, so can we type Skeleseller in here? Yes. And can I find streamers from this? Most watched? Okay, yeah, we can. Okay, so then I should be able to type in any other game. Like, I don't know, Stardew Valley. I don't think Stardew Valley is a game I want to compare against. But yeah, we can see this. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. All right, I'll take a look at that later. Let's read the rest of this. Where'd the Reddit post go? Here it is. Kept everything in Excel. Yep. I'm already doing that. Writing the email. This is the most important part. I'm very simple template. Spend a couple hours refining it. Give a clear idea of the game. I think this part's already working well for me. And my response rate has been pretty good. Focus first, if not only, on the benefits for the other person rather than your own. What was their response rate? 41 keys redeemed. They didn't say their response rate. I know they said how many videos they got and everything, but I wonder how many people responded saying like, hey, this game isn't for me, or oh, thanks for sharing this, I'll make a video. Oh, wait, here it is. Wait, no, it's not here. Never mind. Response time from the email sent to the video was about 10 days, mostly within a couple days. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure I read this again, just in case there was something else I could extract from it. I think the Sully Gnome part with Twitch is pretty important. Yeah, let's mark that as done. Here it is. All right, PRs 1097. We should probably delete every other mushroom from the environment so players don't get excited when they see something that turns out to be unharvestable. Maybe we should just limit this to the colorful mushrooms and only use them in places where they're harvestable. Yeah, I kind of like that second idea here. A lot of people have commented on this. So you can click, what is it? You can click this mushroom, this brown one here, but you cannot click the same one over here. And yeah, I think an easy thing we could potentially do is we could just take like this graphic. This could be a harvestable mushroom. And anytime you see it, it's harvestable. And we just only use it in a few places. As opposed to picking a random brown mushroom and saying, oh no, it's only some of the brown mushroom. Because I think there are two other ones. Yeah, there's one and there's one other one somewhere. And I never remember where it is. Yeah. Well, let's go look at that PR. Pull request merged. Click any of these. Next to potion shop. Oh, yeah. Wait, is that the one I'd already found though? Where was the other one? It's down. Yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah. So it's there, and up there somewhere. Yeah. So we have a bunch of different mushroom graphics. World, exterior, atlas. Are they all in here? I don't see any mushrooms in here. Huh. Farming? Ah, there they all are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6, I guess. Use Mushy's head. Every time you click one, it's +1 power. The other thing we could do is, I don't think we're using some of these extra little doodads here. We could just put like a jar out there, and when you click it, it gives you something, and it doesn't have to be 1 gold every time. It could be, I don't know. It could be that you get a potion out of it sometimes. I think that could be kind of fun. Actually, it would be kind of interesting if you found one of these things and it always gave you an item. I sort of like that idea. Where'd that picture go? Here, yeah. Do we use those anywhere? If I build everything in the game, do we ever have those little jars around here? I don't see any. We used to have them for the enchanter, because you used to have to dump items into them. I can change a harvestable mushroom to a totally different graphic. Well, what I was thinking here is it's not just you click the pot and you get a gold. It'd be like you click this and you get a certain item and it's weighted pretty heavily toward the low value items. I think that'd be neat. But I'm still debating on this. Alternatively, a bag, I guess? We don't use that bag graphic anywhere. I actually kind of like the bag graphic idea. Do we have any other graphics that could maybe be fitting for this? Where did... Yeah, here. No, I think that'd be good. Yeah. I was talking about the other brown ones. Oh, so what I was thinking is this. Here's at least my thoughts. We delete the brown mushrooms entirely so that you can just harvest apples. And then we add in the bag graphic and let you get a single item from it occasionally. Hey, Ludoplex, what are you learning? I'm not really learning on stream. It's the unfortunate naming from 2020 where I was doing a content segment called Adam Learns. And the idea back then was to learn some technology and then like eventually either teach it or make a project in it. I've been just doing game development for the last pretty much couple of years. So yeah, we're making a game called Skeleseller. Yeah, I like this idea of these bags showing up. It reminds me of Red Alert had these like crates that you could find. Where is there a picture of this? Am I even thinking of the right game? Maybe it was Command and Conquer. I know they're in the same series. What am I thinking about? Tiberian Sun definitely had them. Okay, you know what? This is why I'm just going to search Google and not Bing. I don't really see a picture. But I guess I don't really need a picture. It was just an idea where, like, as you're playing this game, you'd find a crate on the map and you could bring a unit to it. And actually, in that game, it could have been a bad thing that spawned out of the crate. But most of the time, it was a good thing. Hey, Voice of Grog. And hey, Sick. Fresh out of learning. Yep, no more learning. Well, so I just mean that the focus isn't learning. I do learn things on stream. Hey, Renavern. Hey, Taras. I'm Void. Delete the brown mushrooms. You have other types of mushrooms? Yeah. There's these ones and this one and this one and the green one here. Okay, well, I like this idea. What time is it? It's 10:21. I kind of want to do this, even though it's not super important. Hey, Jammy, and thanks. Hi from the US. Anyone ever asked to chop down the trees? No. So replace them with something different, but place them somewhere else. We could spawn items from them and make them fly to the portal. No, I was thinking we just delete the mushrooms. There are no clickable mushrooms. And instead, there's like a couple of bag spawn locations. And I'd make a new system so there's only one bag on the map at a time. And when you click it, it opens up with a potion or something that you get. But I don't know for sure that I want to do this right now. I kind of want to do it. All right, let's try something here. Let's try this. So let's go to our harvestable that we have right now. And right now what they do is they call modify money. But what if they gave you an item? Now, how would this work? You click the bag and it turns into a ground item, I guess. Yeah. See, I'm curious how we would get this to happen. We have... Oh, also... Oh, this won't totally work. Yeah. I think I'd instead make it spawn at a random place so it's not an item farm. Oh, it's not like... It would never be an item farm. It'd be like, you know, once every 60 seconds, spawn in a random place and heavily weight the item you get toward the bad items. So, like, most of the time it's going to be worth 3G because it's going to be a small blue potion. But the mushrooms were worth 1G each, and there were 3 of them. So it pretty much works out to the same thing. Every once in a while, you're getting 3 gold. Possibly you're getting 5 or 10. And every once in a while, maybe you get like 20, which is still probably not worth it for you. So the problem that we have here is if we're going to spawn an item for you, we need it to have a source. And if the source is out of bounds, skeletons will pick up the items. So we either, like, option 1 is make the source always be inbound. Option 2 would be allow you to pick up the item from the bag, but if you drop it, put it in the portal. Option 3 would be clicking the item or clicking the bag sends the item to your warehouse. This would probably not make it clear what you got. Can we make it sometimes do nothing, just spawn funny text? I think it'd be nicer if it was always a reward. Maybe if after you got like 5 or 10 of the rewards, it could do nothing. But I think the point is, like, at some point in the game for most people, they're probably not clicking this, even though it's just pure upside, because it's 1 gold. And like, what's the reason? Why would I care about getting 1 gold? So like at some point, yeah, you might find a bag on the map, but you might be like, I'm already getting 1,000 gold per minute. I don't care about the 3 gold I might get from this item. So yeah, I think we just leave it as pure upside. So make the source always be in bounds. If we did that, it'd be confined to the paths. We could actually just put it on the paths. I like that they'd be in the forest somewhere, though. Should we scale harvestable value? No. I think it's a nice little Easter egg. That's pretty much all this is an Easter egg. I don't think they ever need to be worth something. There's also now an achievement associated with them. So that on its own is like, that's enough reward for people. Lie to pick up the item from the bag, but if you drop it, put it near the portal. Like a regular ground item. Option 4 would be mark these as an item that skeletons can't find. So they're just on the ground in the forest. One hour in, drop an Omni Orb. Yeah, I think there's just going to be small blue potions most of the time. All right, let's just spawn a ground item and see what happens. We do this from the portal already. Yeah, spawn item. Oh, and this just drops at a random location. I mean, the other thing we could do is just have them pick it up from wherever. I think it'll look really weird, though. So we're going to do town.add item. Oh, there's no add item. What's it called? Add items, private. Huh. We don't have a way of fetching this? We don't have a way of fetching this. So what calls this? Grant instant loot. Grant items. Add items. Open treasure chest. Yeah, they're all private. So we need to make something public over here. I mean, I'll just do it for now. I just want to test this and see what happens. Public void testeroni. All right, so town.testeroni, put that there, go into that function. So we're going to spawn an item. Let's say the item ID is just always a potion. Item ID dot small blue potion. Quantity is always 1. False, I don't know what that even is. Respect max items. Oh, this shouldn't get combined with the existing ground items. Yeah, we need to treat this specially. Miko, thanks for the resub. Just swinging by to drop the prime sub. Hope your day is good. Thanks. Happy New Year. Happy 1/3 of a year. The resub. And hey, Monatic Bind, Happy New Year to you too. Took a nap under the tree, left the sack with an Omni Orb lying around. Not even caring because the local economy is just that inflated. Yeah, I think there could be a chance for a valuable item. I don't think it should happen frequently. All right, so position of this, let's pass in a position vector to position, delete this stuff. And this is going to be global position. So what I've done, if I did this correctly, is when you pick an apple or pick a mushroom, a potion will pop out of it, I think. And it's going to cause a lot of issues. Hey, neat. Where's the potion shop mushroom? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so skeletons will go pick this up. And they would pick that one up too. If I just made a bunch of skeletons here, they'll walk over to as close as they can get, which will be like the top of this path, and it'll snap to them. Or yeah, the left of the path. And then if I pick these other ones, I do kind of like that. Yeah, so we get stuck in a tree. So the skelly mans will move over here to like there-ish, and then just pick it up. What happened with that one? Huh. Yeah, so that's the idea I was thinking of. And if you pick it up and drop it, you'll put it back down there. I think we could do this, but I think you can get it like stuck behind the tree. We could do this, but we would need to make it something not be part of ground items for a couple reasons. One is that if there are already items on the ground, so if we restart this, then they'll stack with those items, even if they're nowhere near where this thing is. So if how do I do this? I do that, and then that, and then that, and that. Yeah, okay. So now we put some items on the ground. So see that one potion when I click this? Oh, that didn't work. Interesting. I thought it would stack with that. So yeah. Not that Adam cares, but yay. You're darn tootin'. So yeah, I don't think this is worth doing right now. This is a fun idea. I'll file this for myself for later. Add or like change harvestables. Oh, 2 in a row, Codex. That's why you were trying to spam them yesterday. So one of the issues with 1097 is that brown mushrooms are only sometimes harvestable. We also use them statically on the map as ornaments. Many people have commented on this as they've played the game. What I think I want to do is remove all harvestable brown mushrooms completely. We'll just have harvestable apples. And then where's that bag graphic? Where'd that go? Yeah, here. And what is this graphic? Where are you located? I think it was in the farming atlas. Yeah. I want to copy this. Add bags that can spawn on the map. You'll find them in the farming atlas. There should probably be one bag that spawns at a random place every minute or so. It would be outlined on hover but have no tooltip. Clicking it would immediately put an item on your cursor, and right-clicking it would drop that item on the ground, but it would be tracked by something that skeletons can't access, so that they don't try going out of bounds. We wouldn't even need to save this item on the ground. Also, we would heavily weight the item to be a small blue potion. We could even have a very tiny loot table specifically for this. Maybe you can find one special item from it that's worth 5G or 10G. Wonder if you looked into Twitch drops, how much would they cost? I haven't looked into them. I don't know what it takes for small games to do this. And I also don't know how much value it provides. Your option 4 in the notes isn't necessary. Just place them in the or outside the nav. It's necessary because of what I showed over here. If you try putting it like this is outside of the nav, a skeleton is going to come close to it and then it'll snap to its hands. So see that? It just like warped it from there to there. If we put it like way over here, the skeleton will get to this point in the path and then just teleport it right from where it is in the forest. Can someone explain how the keyboard works? There's not enough keys for the alphabet, so you have to hit a special key for certain characters. Yeah, that's basically it, but there are enough keys for the alphabet. There are 36 keys on this. So 26 could be for the alphabet, and you might say like, oh, 10 are for numbers, but then you would have used the whole keyboard. So that is not what we set up. You don't tend to have numbers on the main layer here. So if I want to type numbers, I have letters here, and then I hold another key, and now they're numbers. And I hold another key, and they're symbols. I thought they're just not valid targets. No, they're valid targets. It's just that they snap to the skeleton when they get close enough. And if you want to find out more about that, Totoro, take a look at that. Hey, Grace. It's going pretty well. Doing some fun stuff. All right, so I'm going to delete this for now. I guess we could get rid of the extra mushrooms for now, but I don't think that's super important. Special item could be a hidden achievement too. Yeah, it could. Well, it could be, but we do have an achievement for clicking the apples, and nothing in the game tells you to click the apples, so it's already kind of a hidden achievement. And yeah, Happy New Year, Totoro. So is there any code I want to save from here? We didn't do anything too crazy. It was just this. Yeah. Note, when testing this, I put this code in town.cs, but it creates a ground item, meaning skeletons will indeed try to seek it out. CS. Whoop. There we go. Do you have the town scene PR in your to-do? I don't, because I don't know what names I want to use for this. So I've got to put some thought into this. And I think it's easier to just never do anything about it. And I think I even wrote recently that I want to do something. Yeah. Yeah, so I got to think about that. All right, reset skills button shows when you're level 1. Is that true? Whoops. Oh, I should delete all this stuff. What am I doing? No, stop stealing the focus. Delete and close everything. Cool. So, does this show when you're level 1? $51 and still have to look at the keys to type. If you ever wanted to change that though, you could. I think this is where learning a new layout can sometimes be helpful. So like I'm not on a QWERTY layout right now. QWERTY would be what kind of standard keyboards are. I'm on Colmac, which has QWIFPB and then I guess J. That's my top row. But yeah, this is called Colmac DH. And I don't think learning a new layout is worthwhile for most people. But if you want to learn how to type properly, it can be a good forcing function. Stopped working 10 years ago, but I was a developer before. Oh, I see. Okay. Do you have hand pain? You have to specifically train muscle memory, especially as you get older. Yeah. I felt this way even using this keyboard starting like 4 years ago. It's it's a lot to learn. There's debug, but there's no reset skills. Maybe if you save and load. Ah, there it is. Is that only because you have the farm? How did that happen? Let me make a new game and just save and load this. It does not work there. So you need the farm, and then you need to save and load, it seems. So we do that, and it still doesn't show up. And if we hit level 2, it would show up, which is correct. Oh, but then it just shows up for everybody, right? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is kind of a problem. So the repro is unlock the farm, save and load. Repro number 2 is have a character greater than level 1, and then click a character that is level 1. Worked for 20 years at the end. I was forcibly sent to a mental hospital. Okay, I see. I thought this was related to the typing on a keyboard thing. This is just related to the used to be a developer thing, right? Because I was going to say, if you want, you could still get a keyboard. I thought what you were going to say is I have a physical problem that prevents me from using keyboards, and I'd love to learn this, but I literally cannot type on it or something. But yeah, it's a fun thing to do even if you're not a developer. Well, okay, let me put a caveat on that. It was fun for me, and it could be fun for you. I think some people are into keyboards as a hobby, and some people just see it as a necessity. It's sort of like driving. Some people see driving as like, oh, it's just a form of transportation. It's the same as taking a bus or taking a bike. And some people are like, cars, 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 cars. I am not a car person. All right, so I'm gonna try to hide this, I think. Adventure panel tab. Reset skills. So where do we show this? Is unlocked. And the game's not in challenge mode. Wish I had the keyboard motions and all text fields everywhere. Helix? What do they use for their keyboard motions? Text editor. Modal text editor. This makes me think it's Vim related. Yeah, Vim like modal editing. Multiple selections. Is it just Vim key bindings? Because yeah, well, I don't know. I was gonna say there's a lot of key bindings for Vim in other programs. Like you could get Vim key bindings for Chrome, for example. You could get it for pretty much every text editor. And I think those are the main ones, actually. I'm trying to think where else you'd even want it. Like you wouldn't want it for an image editing program or something. That wouldn't make sense. Guys, I always taught this. It's not just the skill table is unlocked. Debug unlock on B elite instances. I think we need to check to see if the adventurer is more than level 1. Adventurer component, get level, selected adventurer greater than 1. All right, let's try that. Possibly null. I mean, we could just say that this is not null and all that other stuff. But this is some like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like this at all. That will return an adventurer. Selected adventurer equals selected. If this is null, just set it to... Wait, isn't this constant time? Oh my god. Okay. There's a lot here. Some are similar. I think the selection to action flow is reversed. I see. Yeah. So if selected adventure is null, I don't want to do this. I wanted to just save having to fetch the level here. If it's null, I guess this thing can't be visible. Oh, wait, what am I doing? That's what I wanted to. Cut out another access. All right, I think this will work now. So the selected adventure is there, and they're more than level 1, and you're in story mode. That should fix this. So just make a new game. We'll look at this. We don't see the button there. What is... Oh, I see. That's a little weird. Yeah, that's a little weird. Huh. All right, well, we can fix that too, I guess. Adventurer panel tab. So this apparently spans the whole thing. Is this in an HBox container? It is. I guess we need to make a new HBox container that just has... How do we do that? I'll need to think about that. Yeah, I'll need to think about that. I think that should probably happen after this, though. So the skill points label spans the whole width of the page. So this... We should be able to easily fix this with another HBox container or two. But I don't want to get sidetracked right now, so I'm not going to touch that yet. But this issue, so now we get multiple adventurers, we get the farm. This still doesn't show up. We level up this, now it does show up. We click mushy and it doesn't. Yeah, so this is working the way I want it to. In fact, it almost makes me wonder if reset skills should only show up if you've put a skill point in. So not even just, do you have skills available? I could see it working either way. I think showing it ahead of time is probably best. The other thing that's been bugging me is this is black text, I think, or maybe red. Can't tell what color that is. No, I think it's supposed to be, well, it's dark blue, apparently. Okay. Yeah, I think we got to fix that too. I don't think this is very visible. Or we lighten the blue background some more. But this button looks a little bit out of place to begin with. In fact, it's the only blue background button. The debug one doesn't count. Yeah, I don't think we use this anywhere else. So I'll write that down too. Change the text of the reset skills button so that it's more legible. Yeah. Well, I think we fixed the first problem. So now what happens if I save and load? Looks good. And if I get someone else to level 2? Yeah, nice. Okay, so hide reset skills if the adventurer is level 1. Yeah, pretty easy. All right, and then allow dragging in battle window even when it's docked. I think I have this written down somewhere, and I watched a friend play test this 2 days ago, and he was also trying to do this. So he started a battle, and it's pretty natural to be like, oh, let me drag this out of here. And he did this like a few times and it didn't work. And then, yeah, he realized there's an undock button. But we should shortcut dragging from the title bar. I have that somewhere, like battle window improvement. Window. Yeah, here. Maybe this should only happen when dragging from the title bar. Yeah. Hey, Pork. Good feature idea to auto undock. Yeah. At least from the title bar. When it's already undocked, you can drag from anywhere in the window. But I think when it's docked, maybe only the title bar lets you drag it away. But I'm not going to do that just yet. But that's already tracked, so let's delete it from here. So I've checked that in. Next up, skill points spans the whole of the page, the entirety of it. So we've got to make this not take up the full thing, which is trivially easy to do. So there, that's done. Oh, and that's it. We're just done. I didn't realize that's all it took. Easy peasy. Okay. I've had a ton of trouble with mouse input stuff in Godot. I don't think it should be too bad. It's kind of like dragging our items. We need some threshold thing. So for items, I'll show what I'm talking about here. So if you click this, if I move up by 1 pixel, it doesn't actually start dragging the item. Like I'm holding the mouse down this entire time. When I get far enough away, it picks up the item. That's pretty much all we have to do for the battle window as well. In fact, I should write that in the issue. Also, it should probably use the same threshold functionality from that dragging an item or the camera uses, so that you don't just move by 1 pixel and undock a battle window. All right, let's look at the UI now. Nice. So we don't have a random tooltip showing up here. This is an appropriate amount of time to spend on this fix, which is 10 seconds. We spent a little bit more than that, but yeah, nice. Cool, let's check that in. Fix skill points label taking up a lot of space. You could hover over the blank space to get the tooltip for the label, which is why I bothered fixing this bug. Cool, that's done. And next, change the text of the reset skills button. So where's that? It's right there. Where are you? Here. And what is your theme? What? How does this have... How does it have the coloring that it has? It must be in a theme from somewhere over here. But where? It's probably from a parent of this. Oh, where is that? Panel tab container probably has it. No? What? Oh, there it is. Paper stack theme. I don't know where that button is. Yeah, I don't know where that button is. I don't know how this happens. How does it look like this? That's strange. Did we change colors? No, we didn't. What theme causes buttons to look like this? I wonder if maybe if I just run, I'll be able to find it in the remote scene tree. Yeah, let's take a look. So now it should exist. Yep, there it is, reset skills. So we got to go find that remote reset skills. Here it is. And can we see what theme it has? You can't? How are you supposed to figure this out? I mean, I guess we could do this from the other direction. We could figure out what that border is and then find what uses that. There it is. No, that's different. Where is that border? No, it's not. Oh, there. Maybe that. It. No, it's not that. It has to be one of these things, right? Ah. Is it that one? Frame over. Does it look like that when you hover over it? Yes, it does. Okay, so frame over. Frame over is in basic fonts. Maybe that's why I couldn't find it. This might be something that we use as our default theme. No, it's an adventurous panel tab. Why did I see this? What? Where is that? Basic. How did I miss this? It's on the panel container. Did I just not look at that? That'd be embarrassing. Oh yeah, I closed this, but it's not there. It's in here somewhere. Panel container. Oh my god. It's like super far down. How much has it come up since I started using Macs? I mean, that's the name of my GitHub repo containing my Mac configuration. But you're the first person to mention it without knowing that already. So once. Yeah, here we go. So this is all I want to change. I don't think this is super readable. And I think a lighter font color would make it readable. So if we just change this up to there, I think that would look a lot better. Do I have to save now? How do I do this? Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's try that. It stands out a lot more. It almost makes me wonder, why do we do this at all? Do we use this anywhere else? Only here. And only for that one button. Does this benefit from looking like that? Like, could we just make it look like this? Yeah, what if I just delete this theme? It didn't change the style of that somehow? Does something else have the same theme? That's bizarre. What's doing that? What basic fonts has to exist somewhere else then? It's on guild supply. It's on skills. Wow. Wow. Where's skills here? All right, reset this one too. All right, so now they just look like regular buttons, but I think they'll get themed based on, yeah, based on the parent. All right, so does that look better, having a green button there? Ignore debug. Debug shouldn't show up. In fact, let's delete that. False. Okay, now we relaunch. It seems much more in your face now. Quite readable. Yeah, readability is better, but actually, yeah, I think this looks pretty nice. So now if you do have enough wisdom, oh, I can't do that now. If you have enough wisdom sludge, this will also be green. All right, do I have any way of getting wisdom sludge quickly? No, but I could save and modify my save file and do it that way. I guess that's pretty fast. Save.json, wisdom sludge. A lot. Load. Okay, so now this is green and this is green. Is that distracting? I don't think so. Is that centered? I don't know if that's centered. Let's go take a look. Skill points, where are you? Skill points. There you are. Is this not centered vertically? Vertical alignment center. Why doesn't it look centered? If I draw a rectangle like this. Yeah, I guess it's at the midpoint. It just doesn't look like it for some reason. Oh, because of this is just a horizontal line. If it had one of these little ornaments over there, it might look like it. We could also just increase the font size. Hey, Katie. I think I've seen you in Windy's stream. Is that right? I don't fully recall. Well, welcome into my stream. Yeah, I kind of want to increase the size of that now too. I do like this though. I think we're going to delete this. In which case then frame over isn't being used for anything. Yeah. So frame over should probably go into the unused folder. Because now basic fonts isn't doing anything with that. Basic fonts.tres. Why are there errors over here? What are you complaining about? Null reference exception. What? Have you seen this? No idea how reliable it is though. Fractured JSON. Well, that's pretty neat. I have not seen this. I use, whenever I have JSON data, like hi there, foo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whenever I have something like this, I usually just type format. And I know that's not the same format, but I just use whatever's built in. I hadn't thought about it for something like this. I don't deal with save files a whole lot, and when I do, I usually know what I'm looking for. But yeah, it could be helpful. This might change how it saves a file instead of just changing how it renders. Yeah, Iron Blade. Yeah. All right, so I did a whole bunch of things and then forgot what I was doing. Oh yeah, this. Right, let's go look at that. Okay, so set skill table unlocked is called immediately and ready when we don't even have a selected adventurer, but this is causing a problem. Why is it causing a problem? Because the town doesn't exist? Oh my god, really? Oh, that's stupid. I think we should just change set skill table unlocked false. I think we should just do this in init. But don't we initialize a character selector? Does this, and nope, that doesn't do anything. Initialize that stuff. Set tooltip based on character level. I think we should just put this here. Or like as soon as we have the town. Shows perk init, set up debug button. Or like here even. Let's try that. That should fix the error that's happening, which means I need to amend the last commit. But just with that one little thing. Let's try this again. Any problems here? No, I think that's fixed. Okay, well then let's check that in. Oh, that's the only change I made in this file. Oh, then we can just click the plus button altogether. That'd be more tedious. Oh no, that's not the right commit. Oh. Whoops. All right, now I need to undo that. I should have just read what I was doing. And then minus this, commit that, check this in as fix error with an earlier commit. Now that I'll just say town could have been null, so I moved a call. Yeah. All right, now back to the issue that we had here. So turning this in green. I do like that. We don't use this frame over thing anymore. And this now has a reference to a button. This is never used anywhere as far as I'm understanding. Basic fonts.tres is only in Adventurers panel tab. No, it's in 3 other places. Item action menu, player ability tree, and instance slot toolbar. None of those use a regular button though. Yeah. So we can delete this, which means that any styles that we had here can also be deleted. Frame disabled. What else? Frame focus. Is that one hyphenated? No. Whoops. Frame over. Frame. And then one more. Also frame. Okay, so that there's no unique one beyond that. Colors, everything else, none of that should matter. Yeah, so I think we're going to delete this entirely. Manage, delete. Now, if I save that, I think it will have drastically cut down. Yep, there's a lot of red here. And now if I search for any of these things, we shouldn't find them anywhere. Good. Just in the import file. That's, yep, good. Good. And this one is used here. Instance slot theme. Instance slots use that frame. Apparently they do. So if I just start a battle, that is apparently frame on the outside. Is that correct? Because if it is, I'm okay with that. Where is frame here? Yeah, that looks like it. Okay, cool. Sure. So then that one's still being used. So we just care about these three. So I'm going to move them to the unused folder. So can we see this? We have disabled focus over move to assets unused. Is there a subfolder in here like UI? Yeah, there's. Move. Cool. All right, and everything should still operate here. So let's go try this out. How's C# and Godot? Keep toying between Unity and C# and Godot because I think I just prefer it over GDScript. I think it's good. I think there are some gotchas with it. So right now, web export isn't working with C#. They're still working on that. They're going to get it to, they're going to fix it. There's no like good hot reloading, whereas GDScript does a better job at this. And then there are some other gotchas, like one I just discovered yesterday, that if you do something like, let me just show you an example in code. Here. So if you have code that looks like this, italics font size, this looks like there's nothing wrong and this works, but this C# string gets wrapped into a Godot string name, which has a performance impact. And if you do this like once per frame or something, or 10 times per frame, then you'll notice that performance impact. And what you need to do is use a Godot string name for this. And it's like, it's just one of those things where I was working on this game for almost 2 years and then just discovered it because I profiled my game. And I'm like, why is this taking up so much time? So there's some little gotchas here and there. Whereas with GDScript, I don't think you'd run into those. This one in particular, you won't run into because it just doesn't exist as a problem there. But all in all, I'd say it's pretty good. If you don't have a problem with GDScript, I almost feel like it's the right default choice for right now. And it's not unless you're like, I definitely want to use C# that I would recommend using it for Godot. And if you have any performance issues, you can always mix the two and use whatever makes sense for what you're doing. Something like preferring the comparison to string.empty and not quotation marks. Not quite. So I'm not sure what the compiler does, but an empty string versus string.empty, they're both something that is all in just C# land. So the C# compiler can figure out, like, it could just replace this with string.empty if it wanted to. What we're talking about is switching between Godot and C# and passing a string into Godot that gets turned into a string name. And Godot wants to only have one of these at any given time. And while C# is only going to have one of the C# string, Godot is going to keep recreating this like instance. It's only for the very best developers on Twitch. We're all just using Windy's language. I hope you all realize that. You're leasing. You have a license to C#, given down from the C# god himself, Windy Miss Beard. Welcome in, Windy. Happy New Year. Hey, graphic. Godot is GDScript first. Yeah, and like I said, I think it's a good default choice. Like, if someone didn't know anything about programming or game development, I'd be like, yeah, use GDScript. All right, so we're going to check in all of this stuff, except for feature flags. We got rid of this theme from 2 different places. It still has it in one other place, though. Yeah, where's the other place? Guild supplies. Why? And does that do anything? I didn't actually test this, so I don't know. Yeah, it's basic fonts on it. All right, I'm going to delete this and see what happens. Let's take a picture first. So I'll mess this up. Adam Sharp went. I'm always sharp. Godot not using Go purely for the name matchup is a tragedy. I know. Should have named it to Sharp Dot. That took me a while. Oh, I'm in debug mode still. I'm not even testing this correctly. All I want to do is get a picture of something, and I need to cheat to do it. The game's not letting me cheat. Godot versus Donet. Donut. Should call it donut. All right, grant most things, get this, go over to here. So I'm just going to take a picture of this, I guess. I doubt it's going to look any different. Although now I'm realizing the font size changed. Maybe the font size did change, and that's why this is sticking out to me. Oh, maybe we shouldn't have changed what I did. Let's try reverting this. So revert that and revert this. I want to take a picture of this whole thing, though. I already get it? Yeah, I did. And I think if we restart this now, I think this is going to be in a larger font size. I'm on a Unity Learn journey right now because I want to trial a few engines to see what I'm feeling, I guess. I do love a bit of Godot, though. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to trial engines. I think also you need to make sure that whatever you're testing is like a representative test of what you're going to eventually do. The other thing that doesn't involve trialing engines is at least like looking at their monetization. So Godot is just like totally free. But, well, maybe also they're publishing, I guess. So it's totally free, but no support for Nintendo Switch built in. They only use third parties. I think Unity, well, for one, it's not totally free, but I think they have like Switch support. I'm not positive on that, so I'd look into that if that matters to you. But some people do plan on launching on every console or mobile or desktop platforms too. If you have that in mind, I think Godot is going to cause some pain when you get to that point. So yeah, those sorts of things can matter. And then monetization, of course. Like, how much do you pay using Unity? Do you want to pay that? Unity has Switch support, yeah. And it's not like Godot games can't be made to run on the Switch. It's just they're not giving their dev kits out to like an open source foundation, I guess. Oh, what was I going to do? Just take a picture of this, I guess. Oh, this is huge. This will simply not do. Why did this get so large, though? It didn't always look like that, right? This is like comically big now. Oh, the level up button didn't even exist in my old screenshot. Oh, because I maxed everybody out, right? No, I didn't max them out. Okay, I have too many tabs open. And for whatever reason, you can't press Control Tab to switch tabs in this program. Yeah, I maxed everybody out. Hey, ABC, Happy New Year. Try building a custom engine after this project, see how realistic it is. Godot's worn on me over the last 5 years. Oh, wow. Yeah. I think most people who end up making their own engine end up taking on the order of a small number of years before they can start working on their game. Like typically 1 to 2 years, I would guess. Sometimes 3. And to me, that just sounds like you really have to be in engine development to want to do that. All right, I'm busy breaking everything. I think I know what's going on now. I deleted the whole button element. I shouldn't have done that because the button was also setting font sizes, right? Yeah, font size 15. So I guess we just We could just do that, right? We could just add the button in and set font size to, wait, what? Default is 19 and font size is 15. All right, well, anyway, let's go try putting that back in. Hey, Showboat, thanks for the resub. I need some advice. Recently developed pretty bad RSI at 20 and the wrist pain is immense. I switched to Dvorak and I'm thinking about building a corn. Your videos have been really helpful. I'm also a TA though. Do you think switching between two layouts would be a bad idea? So I don't think switching layouts is a bad idea in terms of like muscle memory or speed. I think that's fine, but I cannot comment personally on RSI. I don't know how much a corn will help, and I don't know how much the layout will help. From what I've heard from a bunch of people, weightlifting helps. But again, don't take anything I'm saying as medical advice. I can't stress this enough. Like, you should probably see a doctor. You should probably see what they have to say. And if they say, oh yeah, weightlifting sounds fine, just give it a shot, because, you know, assuming you're not going overboard, it's not going to hurt you. It's probably going to help in a lot of other ways too. But yeah, RSI is particularly tough, especially if you want to have a career in software. It's not like you can't work around it in some ways. I think that you could probably use a computer entirely with like AI and voice at this point. You could probably code that way. Well, I think you could kind of always do this, but I think you can do it more easily now than you ever could. Yeah. Proper typing stresses my wrist more than my old poor typing style. Oh man. There's no easy win, is there? All right, so we got to go back to basic fonts over here and open this and add in a button again and set the font size for this. Where do you do that? Here. And I'm gonna set this at 15. How do you change this number? What? That was weird. All right, so now it won't be gigantic anymore, and I'm hoping everything just looks good. Okay, Murky. In my experience, the most annoying thing about all layouts is not the letter placement, but the special keys and characters, which are the ones that require the most finger spreading and travel distance. Yeah, and that's actually where the corn helps out a lot. Like, if you've seen me type, even in just this stream, you'll rarely see my hands move all that much. It's like if I type function and then foo and parentheses and curly braces and enter, it's like I just hardly move my hands for any of that, right? In fact, if I slow it down, you can see exactly what's going on there. But now imagine if you were typing that on a regular keyboard, it's like the parentheses are going to cause you to move, enter might, the curly braces might, you might like rotate your hand to be able to press the curly braces depending on your keyboard. All right, how are we looking now? Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. And just guild supplies. Where are the guild supplies? I don't have them. Nice. All right, that took a little longer than I thought, but I did have this on my to-do list, and there were actually a couple of little issues there. Fix legibility of reset skills button. It was dark blue on light blue, which wasn't easily legible. Oh no, these things made it back? No, they didn't. It's just that I didn't click the plus button. There we go. Yeah, we now use the regular button colors for that dialog. Might actually be better for RSI if the RSI is on the right hand, since the right hand does slightly less than that layout. Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely not an expert on RSI. All the people who've mentioned having any sort of repetitive stress injury in chat, who've then followed up with me afterward, have said weightlifting has helped the most of everything they've done. I think it's probably just all part of an equation. Like, it's a combination of how you sit, your keyboard, your layout, how often you type, how rapidly you type, what other things you're doing afterward, or how you're holding your hand or something, and how like strong your muscles are. Built a couple engines before, hoping to make much smaller projects, so the feature set needed from the engine will hopefully be small. Also, I'm trying to make this as small a bet as possible. Yeah. This, I think, is going to be a sort of like a common game dev journey for a lot of people, which is make a game, learn a lot, and then make a game with a totally different philosophy. And then probably learn a lot doing that. And then hopefully make another game, and who cares what happens after that, but just that they haven't gotten like out of the making a game passion. One of the big things I learned from Botland too is if you want to make a game on easy mode, don't do multiplayer. At least don't do competitive multiplayer. I don't think you should pretty much ever do competitive multiplayer if you're an indie dev now. I feel like it's just too hard. There are too many bets. There's too much going on. And there's probably a way to do it on a smaller scale. But yeah, it was a big mistake for Botland, I think. So yeah, I think my next game I do is going to be a single player, manually controlled game. Oh, that's another thing. If you want to make your game harder to make an automated game for difficulty. Most automated games are becoming more common. There are auto battlers, there are factory games, there are those sorts of things, but games in which you're not directly controlling your characters are naturally harder for players to learn. So in a Diablo style game, if you're like click to cast fireball, players get that. That's not very different from press a button to run or click to jump or something like that. But in Skeleseller, when it's like, oh, your characters automatically battle, people just sort of, this like doesn't mesh with their expectations a lot of the time. So like, well, how do I control the battler? Is it, or is this the most fun incarnation of the game? Or how do I learn how to do certain things? Excuse me, 2D or 3D? I think 2D is easier, but I think there are some people who sort of rule out certain game styles. I've reached out to a couple influencers who are just like, the pixel art style is not for me. And I guess the closest you get to this if you're going to make a 3D game is what they call HD 2D, which who cares if that's a term. If you look up Octopath Traveler, that's kind of what I'm thinking of here, where they still use sprites, but the scenes are composited very nicely. So there is clear depth to the scene, there's lighting, and yet this is just a 2D sprite. But not everything is a 2D sprite. I think their environments are 3D a lot of the time. So like this is probably more amenable for the people who say they don't like pixel art, even though there is still some pixel art here. Influencers suck anyway. I don't take any exception to the term influencer, even used to describe myself. Like, I don't think it's an insult or anything. Friend slop is a big genre now, and apparently there's some really good Unity plugins. Yeah. Cooperative multiplayer, I think, is much easier than competitive multiplayer. And I think especially if you're using a plugin or you're having that handle it for you. And the other thing, too, is if you're only handling like local multiplayer, I'm not using this term correctly, but I mean like the friend slop games where you're playing with 4 players or something. I guess small multiplayer. Whereas if you're making an MMO or a game where you have like a matchmaker or any of that sort of thing, it's like, well, now you have other endpoints involved that you have to control the uptime of. There's just a whole lot that goes into that. I'm one of those pixel haters, no hate on the person. Yeah, and I don't think it's bad that people have tastes. I think it's bad if you're not going to buy Skeleseller. You can hate the game, but you still need to spend the money so that it sits in your Steam library. All right, so this is done. Add animated swords. Are these in the... This should be in the unused folder if it's not there already. And I doubt it is. No, it's not. All right, I'll go get these. You can make 2D games that are not pixel art too. Yeah. And you can make games like Kirby Crystal Chronicles, which is 2D gameplay in a 3D world. Crystal Chronicles, that's the Final Fantasy name. Whoops, Crystal Shards. Yeah, do they have a picture of the actual like game? Yeah, here we go. So if you press left, you move in that direction, which is not directly left. And you press right, you move in that direction. But that's it. You don't control like, I'll move down into the left or something. You can't do that. The gameplay is in a 2D plane in a 3D world. And a lot of people call that 2.5D, 2.5D game. I kind of explained that poorly, but I think the idea stands. All right, I'm going to go save this. Animated weapons. just going to save this directly and unused for now. Hey, Xyletics. Happy New Year. Transcends visual styles. Bone style. Imagine people buy all those top-end gaming rigs. There are more pixel art games coming out that require 10% of that. Or poorly optimized pixel art games that require 200% of that. Mixing a lot of 3D and 2D. I think in almost any 3D game, there's usually at least some concept of billboarding a sprite, that it's always facing the camera. A lot of 3D games have that idea. Or for text. Depends on what you're doing exactly. Add animated sword graphics. We aren't using these, but Quickie Joe drew them. I think it'd be kind of neat. In fact, I want to look at this in the game. Let's at least put them in, just see what happens. So animated sprite 2D. We're going to make a sprite frame and then add in those graphics. Unused. Hey, it detected them correctly. All right, so let's put one of those in. And then let's duplicate this a bunch of times. And make a new sprite frame and put those. And those. And those. Okay, now we move around a little bit. And then we hit the play button on all of these. You can't have them all playing at once, can you? Oh, you can. Nice. Oh man, these look so cool. Okay, maybe I should use these. Wow. Yeah, we probably should. Hey, Loud Bite. Very common for trees. Oh, yeah, yeah. I hadn't thought about that too. But yeah, as an optimization using them. I was just thinking even in the player's face, sometimes there are a lot of billboarded things. These look so cool that I think it'd be a mistake not to add them. However, it might look a little bit jarring that these are the only animated items. And also our entire item class only allows for sprites right now. So we need to make them allow for an animated sprite. Hey, Hotel Soap. I need computers to improve so people can play my unoptimized game. You know what you should do is just make an unoptimized game using 20-year-old technology. Then it's like computers are 20 years ahead. They look really nice. And yeah. All right, I am torn on this. So let's go make a GitHub issue. Consider adding one of the animated swords into the game. We have the graphics already. Where did I put it? In the unused folder. But there are two problems. One, I'm not sure if it'll look jarring for there to literally just be a single animated item. And two is that item.tscn uses sprite 2D, not animated sprite 2D. And it may be some work for not much gain to accommodate animated sprites. Well, it would be some work. Well, warehouse full of animations. I was thinking of just using it for one of the boss drops. So like you go beat the dragon, and when it drops its rage blade or whatever it's called, dragon sword, this one would be animated, but nothing else would be. And you can fight the dragon multiple times, but you're not going to be fighting it and getting like 80 swords, you're going to probably lose at some point. Yeah. Okay, what time is it? 11:30. I think this is probably a pretty good stopping point. Today was one of the few days I did not click this button at the beginning, and I normally do so I can see how many characters I got rid of from the list. I guess we could press Command Z a whole bunch of times. Should I do that? All right, let's see. All right, so now if I check here, word count 29,006. And we ended up with 26,000. So we got rid of like 3,000 characters. It's like 10% of the to-do list. That's good, right? Oh, my journal is linked to 2025. We got a link to 2026 now. Edit homepage. Where's the journal? There. Save and download. CP homepage. Okay, so now that should go to 2026. Nice. Advanced table formatting. My goodness. Skeleseller. First day of the year. Ta-da. What do we do today? Just went through got through 3,000 characters worth of tasks from my 29K character to-do list. How did I get this to work this way? I did this text wrapping. Okay, yeah. Oh, it's already set that way. I just need to expand this column. Wait, no, what? Not wrapping. Oh, weird. All right, I want them to be roughly the same size. There might be some better way to do this. That's good enough. Okay. Yeah, we have a lot more to do. Actually, not really. Not on this list, at least. I've got like 200 something GitHub issues. I was at the library, I think yesterday, and I went through and closed some of them that I don't think we're ever going to tackle. That's not what I wanted to do here. Yeah, so I closed a bunch yesterday. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, no, those should say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, there's more than I thought. Wow. All right, wow. I closed like 15 of them maybe. But those are ones that I closed with not fix. And we have a lot that we still have left to do. So we have 75 days. We have 244 issues. If we did 3 issues per day, we'd have exactly enough time. So we need to either handle more than 3 issues or just drop more of them. It's probably going to be a mixture of that. Why did you not go live? What do you mean? Are you not seeing video? If you can't hear me, then I guess... Can you not see my video? Hey, Amber. Drop 3 issues per day. Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, I want to keep up on this. And we do need to be tackling the most important stuff. I've been kind of taking it easy in terms of tasks and not doing the most important stuff. And I should really get back to the most important stuff. Yeah, we're going to drop a lot of this too. Man. Wasn't the goal to launch? Oh, when you say live, you're not talking about on Twitch or something. Yeah, the launch date is going to be March 17th. Originally it was going to be Q4 of 2025, and I just thought, I don't really think it's ready. One of the problems with judging if games are ready is that the game can be fun, but you don't know if it's going to market as well. So a lot of people played Skeleseller and enjoyed the game, but I'm like, oh, well, there's a bunch of stuff left to do. Let's give ourselves more time. And when I look back at Next Fest, we were, I think, originally trying to be in like February of 2025 for Next Fest. And I was like, okay, let's hold off until June. That extra 4 months helped a lot. Like a lot. How realistic is this date? Like the launch date? I think it's realistic. The way I look at it right now is the game is fun for a lot of people. So now do what we can to bring this to more people. So like fix quality of life stuff, fix bugs, or improve quality of life stuff, fix bugs, finish any remaining content, and then tons of marketing. Because if the game launched as is right now, I think it's still like playable and fun. I don't think anything's like super confusing or anything. So if I pivoted into not doing any of this quality of life stuff, so for example, we just had a picture earlier. I don't know if I still have it open. I probably don't. Yeah, I don't know where it is. But like this button not being that legible, like, it's fine. It's fine even if we just deleted the button and it wasn't even there. So a lot of those things can just be dropped. And I don't think they're going to greatly hamper the game. And that's why with some of the things I see coming up on the list, like there was something, yeah, like this, for example, the spirit caller can have a summon behind a tree. Like if we didn't fix that, it's not the worst thing. So we're probably going to drop a lot of these issues. And in fact, I should write this here. Make sure to drop more issues. Okay. Yeah, that's it for today. Are you sure people want it? Don't get this wrong. I'm a founder, and how you're supposed to validate, how you're supposed to do is validate the idea, then spend your years on it. I'm just worried that you might spend time on something no one wants. It'd be sad, but if you validated, good for you. I was just worried. Yeah, I don't know if you heard me say this, but I said a bunch of people played it and they said it was fun. That was the game validation, essentially. Like, this page shows there have been about 9,000 people who played it, and the median playtime is 1 hour and 59 minutes. And it's actually used to be a little bit higher, but then I pruned out the demo. So if 9,000 people are playing for a median time of 2 hours, I mean, you have to kind of assume that that means it's fun or that's worthwhile at that point. You can't talk to every one of them, and they might report that like, well, I was hoping it would get better, but I played for 2 hours anyway. What if you turn that bug into a feature? Being behind a tree gives extra dodge. Hey, Mr. XQ on YouTube. I know this might be irrelevant, but do you have tips for someone who gets stressed and panics when he's stuck at a problem, especially when programming as a job, not on a personal project? I think the first thing is like, why do you panic? Or yeah, why do you get stressed? Is it that you're worried? Like there's probably some fear behind it. Is there some fear that like, what if you can never solve this? Or how will other people view you? Or some other thing, what if I lose my job? Is it something like that? And if so, is it a particular one? Because I think in general, a lot of this is like, it's some amount of gain some competence and then think more positively and look back at successes that you've had. And if you do look back at any failures, look at it from a point of view of how do I improve? Maybe be a little more stoic about it. You have a lead or somewhere you can ask for help. Everyone needs help. Yeah, that's another thing is like, if you're worried about how people will view you, it's like, I think there is a balance to strike between asking a question immediately and doing research. And unfortunately, you can go too far in either direction. If as soon as you hit a problem, you know, imagine as just a really contrived example, you hit like, oh, there's 3 + 3. And you're like, I don't know what the answer to that is. I'm going to go ask somebody. And you ask somebody and they're like, it's 6. Could you stop doing this? And yet if you research and you spend a day on this and you're like, I can't find the solution to this. And someone's like, why did you spend a day? Like, it's such a simple problem. You should have asked me about it sooner. So both of those things can happen. And I think there is a learning and just figuring out how do you utilize other people as resources at your job. But yeah, assuming that it's a programming problem. I mean, obviously in this contrived example, it's like, just go ask a calculator. But in a programming problem, you don't have a well-calibrated gauge for that at first. And yeah, I think it's like just after the end of asking someone something, be like, how would I have figured that out for myself? And did I spend too long trying to figure it out for myself? These three came to my mind instantly. Yeah. So, like I said, a lot of this is like you will gain confidence as you do this and try to think more positively in terms of like, okay, how can I improve and not what's going wrong or what's on fire. And the other thing, and I know this is a little bit hard when you're in it, but like your job isn't everything. This probably isn't your final job. Everyone has been in your situation at some point. So yeah, if you're not already leaning on other people to some extent, like utilize your coworkers. Yeah, utilize whatever tutorials or things you can find online, books if you want to read them. And yeah, focus on improving. Getting a lot of unconditional love. Yeah. As long as you took a shot at doing it yourself, it's always fine to ask for help with any resources you have. Yeah, yeah. And also another thing that might be worth realizing is like other people could be the problem. Imagine if you have a boss who's like yelling at you constantly, like, get this done, you're taking too long, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's probably not on you at that point. Like you just have an angry boss who like should not be doing that. And I say could be because I don't think you should look to other people as being the problem as your first thing, like your first conclusion for almost any situation. Like it can end up that way, but I think it should be like, well, is it the situation? Is it me? Is it other people? Should be an analysis of that. But I am going to end the stream. Sorry. So I've been trying to sign off for a little bit. I hope you've all enjoyed. It's good to be working on Skeleseller. We're going to be launching in 2.5 months. Let me find someone to raid. Oh, hey, let's raid James Warner. I don't know how long he'll be online for, but he's online now. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. I think it'll be a full day of streaming, which maybe we'll only be doing this on like Mondays and Fridays now. But yeah, thanks again for being here. Happy New Year, everybody. Let's say hi to James Warner. Take care.